Hey everyone, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Let's see. All right. Hey Carol. Hey Angela. Hey Gigi. Hey Miss Sexy Ray. Hey Spicy Brown. Tay. What's up, Tay? Miss Sexy Ray talks with Pimo. What's up, y'all? Hey Lachelle. What's up, boo? And y'all, I done finally made it. Hey Robin. Because I was debating on if I was going to go live or not still. Um, Even though this was a good subject to talk about, because I came across something yesterday on Kevin's live from something that 2K went live about. So I thought it was interesting. So I wanted to talk about it. Hey, Minnie. Hey, Deborah. But then, hey, Leela. But then I got sleepy, y'all, and I took a nap. And I literally just woke up at 6 because my son, he came home and he was like, "Ma, you sleep?" I did, Tay. I said your name, boo. I sure did. Hey, boo. And so he came, he like, "Ma, you sleep?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so I was like, "Oh Lord, it's almost time for the live." So I ain't even feel like going live. But then when I seen people in here waiting for me, I was like, "Well, I might as well just go on and go live." But so I went out and went live for y'all. Whew, excuse me. So this subject is about child support. So okay, so I tuned in to Kevin's live yesterday, right? I don't know if any of y'all seen it, who didn't see it, who missed it, or whatever. Um, and I I'm really gonna need some engagement in this live because I want to know um what people think. So I'm gonna need some engagement. So it would be good if people would come up here and say how they feel or what they think or yada yada yada. Hey, Unchange Me. Hey, Treasure Life. Hey, A Stokes. So Kevin had went live yesterday, and he went live talking about let me see what the title was. Hold on. It was 2K interesting theory. You said you wanted help landing your plane. Let me help. So the theory was 2K said that uh, black women are the new modern white women. I meant white man. White man. What? Okay. Thank you, son. And so, and I did not agree with that. Of course, I did not. Who agrees with that? Hey, Terry. Hey, Ross. Who agrees with that? That white. Hey, D Ham. That white women. I mean, that black women. Right, Denise. That black women are the new modern white. I mean, yeah, white men. And he explains why. It was something about child support. Basically, you know how the white man had the control over black men, but now basically black women they got the control over black women got the control over black women, which is not the case. So, um, we're gonna look at a little bit of Kevin's live, so everybody will know what I'm talking about. Because Kevin, um, talked about it. Hey, Doris, Kevin talked about it, and or whatever. I think he kind of feel like 2K. That's what I got out of it. But well, I don't know if he kind of feel like 2K, but he did. I don't think he agreed with child support or whatever. But um, so we gon' we gonna look at that, y'all, and y'all gonna let me know what y'all think. Okay. All right, D Ham, I dropped the link. I want some other men perspective on it, and I would like women's perspective. So if you want to come up here and give your perspective on that, I dropped the link. Matter of fact, let me pin it. Y'all can come up here and we can discuss it. Hey Mia's, hey Shawnee. What's up, D Ham?
What's going on, Queen?
Nothing much.
Hello, chat. Hey, family. Hey, everybody. What's good with it?
So I'm gonna play Kevin's live that he did. Some of Kevin's live that he did yesterday. He had went live based off 2K's theory was 2K was did some. He was on some. Him and somebody was podcasting. I don't know who it was, but hey Deborah, hey Patricia, and he was saying that black women are the modern day uh white
White
man.
man. Yeah.
hmm
I didn't
And
see the live, but I hear you talking about it.
yeah, so I'm gonna play that. Thank you, Michelle, for that super sticker. I appreciate that so much. Okay, let's see. Okay. Shout out to Kevin Wesley.
Come on in,
Go
family.
follow him if you're not following Kevin, Mr. Kevin Wesley.
We're about to have a real deep build. This is a touchy topic. I'll be shouting you out as you guys come in, so make sure you comment.
That's true, Roz.
Show some love as you come in, and I'll give you guys a shout out. You know how that works. Shay, what's up with it? Cheryl
I'm gonna
Wagner was
nip
the
this
first
in
in
the
the room.
bud right now.
She's been waiting a while. I'm extremely late. Experiencing some technical difficulties. My mouse didn't work.
Hey,
I'm
Miss
horrible with
White.
computers. We're about to function without it. But shout out to Cheryl Wagner for making it early and speaking, of course. So peace to you, Cheryl Wagner. If you ever come back to this live and see it, shout out to you. Joanne, welcome in. Peace to you. Again, I hope you brought your thinking caps. I heard this conversation, just this rise, right? And when I heard it, I said, man, I got to build on this because the brother was saying some things that I've been speaking on the last couple of months. Ray says, a blessings to you, brother. Indeed, Ray, blessings to you, King. Vanity Talk says, good morning, Kevin. I was curious about this topic as well. So showing support. Okay, good. Thank you for showing your support. Gold Digger says, hello, Kevin. Peace to you. DD Brockington says, hello, Kevin. Peace to you. Joy in Sinkers, I believe. Good morning, Mr. Wesley. Rise to you. Payment the Beef says, hey, Kevin in chat. Peace to you, Amber.
Hey, Kev.
This is sudden. I don't expect a huge turnout, but if you guys can share this and let people know we're doing this live, that would be great.
Hey, Nina.
I'm hoping that I can even have the man 2K to stop by. Let's see here.
And 2K was live about Maine during this time, so he didn't even get a chance to stop by.
Oh. Anyway, guys, I'm going to start this up
That's
and let you guys hear the
scary.
conversation that I caught, and then we're going to elaborate more on this conversation. I'll let it play some. I'll pause it some, but ultimately we'll get through it, and then we're going to have this build. Okay.
There you go. Talk with
So
me, Mo.
okay, let's just get into it because I think this is really good. Shout out to all you guys coming in. Patricia, peace to you. Brazy, peace to you. Let me go ahead and find this without my mouse now because it's going to take me a little bit longer. Hang on.
Google AI helps you find your best customers by optimizing your campaigns in real time. Start by setting your specific goals, and Google AI will help maximize your reach across search,
I don't know where to go.
YouTube, display, shopping, Gmail, maps, and more, all from a single campaign. Put Google AI to work for your business. Sign up for Google Ads today.
I don't know where to go.
Did you lose it, Amber?
Last Black Friday, nearly 18,000 new businesses got their
Yeah,
first
I'm
sale
here,
with
but I'm
Shopify.
trying to
This
find
year,
where.
it's your turn. Launch your store today and watch those sales multiply. Start selling with the platform that's built for Black Friday.
D-Ham. D-Ham, can
Yes,
you hear me?
yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what for some. I don't know
What
why I
happened?
can't find it.
You was just on
I
it,
can't
weren't you?
find it to go post. Oh, here it is.
Okay. Take your time, Queen. Take your time. I'm a mute while you play. I'm listening.
Okay.
So back to what I was saying. I caught this live. I mean, I caught this clip of this video where 2K called into this show. He kind of needed help landing his plane, kind of bringing his thoughts together. Sometimes that happens. You have a good mind, you have a good clue of about what you're trying to say, and sometimes just dialogue with somebody else can help you to kind of clear up your thoughts here. And I see where he was going, but let's get to it, okay? We're gonna get into
Hey,
it.
Cancer 66.
Peace to you, Chris. What's up with you? Sister Teacher, peace to you. Peace to you. Welcome in. All right, guys, brace yourselves for this conversation. All right. Terry
What's up,
Dow, what's
Lex?
up with you, bro? Peace to you,
He
bro. You
do.
show a lot of love. I'm doing well, Chris. Thank you for asking. All right, guys, I'm going to hit play, get into it, and I'll be catching back up with you guys here in a minute. Again, make sure you listen to what these guys are saying, okay? Cancer 66 says, hey, Kevin, and hey, Chad. Peace to you, Cancer 66. Let's get into it, guys.
Man, you here to debate or you want to speak about it? All right, brother. What you want to speak about today, man? You here to debate or you want to speak about a topic?
No, I just want to holler at you, whatever. I know how it is, like how it is to get the content. So when you get some people up here, it'll be a good time.
Yeah,
But I just wanted to politic with you more than debate.
for sure, man.
I got this theory, and I like what you do, bro. Like I always say you almost like the one dude who the girls can't get mad at because you got that mushy voice. So, your
Man, they
voice,
still be getting mad though.
yeah. So like it don't come off as harsh as somebody can say it like me. Cause like I'm a straight shooter, whatever. So it is what it is. But my thing is, I want to know if you can help me bring this point home. I came up with this theory that black women are the new white men.
Oh shit!
And
I know where you're going with it. Go ahead.
okay, and so what I mean by that is, I feel like let's take it back to slavery just a little bit. So, as human to human, we all knew that slavery was wrong, but as a white man, I got to enslave black people because that what was appropriate at the time. I knew that it was wrong, but I still knew that I could do it because people ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Who gonna stop you? You out-competed. You won a competition.
And I feel like black women are the same way. Like right now, they have the leverage, and I feel like they kind of abuse black men. Like, for example, child support. You know it ain't right how they abuse the system, but they do it because they can get away with it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that, well, okay, so you're saying that black women have leverage because they can use certain systems to get away with things. That's what you were saying.
Without knowing that is wrong
I'm gonna stop it right here for a second.
but
Yeah.
they do it because the law of the land.
Okay.
Well, did it stop?
Amber?
Yeah. Okay, it stopped. Can you hear me, D-Ham?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, D-Ham?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Okay,
Okay.
so we're gonna start right there. Just for a second. I hear you. Okay.
Okay.
So, so who agrees with that theory? Who agrees with that theory?
Um.
If you agree with that theory, hit a one that 2K just said.
Yeah.
DM, do you?
Do I agree with the theory? Um.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's not the best comparison, but I do believe that um they're close. I mean, 2K is not too far off.
So what do you think that, like, how do you think he could have had said, what do you think that he's missing? Or what he could have said different that you would have said, oh yeah, he's spot on.
Well, what the point that he's really trying to compare is uh systematically how black men have been put at a
Control.
disadvantage, right? Put at a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that black men has been the target for the white man to subdue us as far as being able to, like you said, and that's now that we can use that word control. So to confine the black man, um, right now, even as we get ready to approach upon this new election, um, this has everything to do with the black man, is in my eyes, because the promotion of alternative lifestyle is so much on the rise, and the black man is somewhat always finding a way to be rooted or to be put in some type of confinement. Find a way to keep um, black men into some type of system. So that's what uh, 2K is speaking on. That's why most politicians, that their job is to well, part of what they do is they put more money into prison systems than they do in school systems. It is a way to get confined black men. But I'll stop there because I know this, we got a lot ways to go.
Okay, so can one of my moms drop the link for memberships, please? Um, okay, so I hear what you're saying. Um, but I think that I don't agree with the comment, and I think black men and women would never be on the same page.
Right.
Um, and that's just that we never gonna agree. I think we both think that each other was done wrong. Um, and we're steady pointing the fingers at each other. You know what I'm saying? At each other. So I don't agree with what he said at all, because we're not the new modern um
No.
white man. No,
No.
we're not that, because we don't have that type of power at all. We don't.
No.
And now with that child support, with the child support thing, here's the thing. Men go around here, they be around here slanging they petey weeder and everybody, making kids with everybody, don't care. And so you don't even be know who you be laying down with. And you be laying down with these psychos, and these psychos be, you have a baby by them, and then you stuck with the psycho for 18 years and got the co-parent with a psycho. So it's basically you putting yourself in that situation. You gotta learn, just like men tell us, you gotta pick your baby daddy wisely. You gotta quit laying down with everybody. You gotta close your legs. You gotta do it. Y'all gotta pick wisely too.
Well, that's important. I think that's where 2K is getting at, right? He's getting to the point where the next thing that he can try to kind of connect to his theory is how the government system came in and told the women, we got you. You don't really need your man. We you can apply for these benefits and you're gonna be all right.
Oh
So
no, I don't believe that.
so when you look at that part of it, um, if the women was already tired, like you just said, for getting taken advantage of with these men, just and they not sure if he gonna be there for them or really love them, then and they don't sit around had their babies. Of course, they're gonna use this. They're gonna utilize what's being offered at the time, right?
Yeah.
So I don't agree that the women are the new white man. I just feel like they they have I don't know if it's all black women, and I hate to even say that black women, but the the plan is to divide the black family and the
That's
and keep
correct.
and keep the black family from growing
That.
together.
Mm-hmm.
So our our race and our culture has embraced the single mentality, whether it is men, whether it's women. We've embraced the club mentality. Um, we've embraced this theory other than family structure. So that's what has happened to our culture. So I grew up watching Amber. I grew up watching
Go
the
ahead.
video box, right? Where you can
Mm-hmm.
actually pick which video you want. You can vote it in or something like that. Those that had cable back in the day, where you can vote to see what video you want to see.
Uh-huh.
It slowly it slowly went away from love songs, where black men was it was being you would these songs are getting your spirit, and you would think about women when you think about these songs. You think about being in love with a woman. To this ratchet uh, lifestyle that people want to live in and free. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we don't indoctrinate the same sound of music where uh, we move to where we at to this day.
Yeah. DM, are
Was
you
I
still
breaking up, Amber?
talking? Yeah, you breaking up.
No, no. Okay, okay. Yeah, I may break up a little bit here or there. Just let me know if you can't
Okay.
hear me.
Okay. You were done,
But
DM?
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious to where Kevin is going, because I spoke on this. I spoke on this when I dealt with the Tyrese situation. So I'm going. I want to hear where these two men are really going with their theories, and then I'm going to probably come back in and talk from it from where they're really going at is with the child support. That is a problem, and I think that his connection to women and white men is may not be the best comparison. But go ahead.
Yeah. I don't understand what the big deal is about child support neither. I don't know why people think that child support is just so okay, I'll drop it. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, DM. Well, no, I can't drop it. Oh, yes, I can. Hold on.
Who here? Who trying to come up?
Oh, nobody. They looking for the membership link.
Okay.
DM ready to get them if they was trying to come up, huh?
No, I thought Kev or somebody was in the chat. But go, you got it.
Miss White said it's. I took it from the aspect of how black families were controlled and handled, manipulated based on how and what the master wanted. Me too, Miss White. Okay, so
So
I
what?
dropped the
So
link.
so so which one is it, Amber? Do you agree with 2K so far?
No, I don't agree with the I don't agree. I'm talking about I don't okay, so I don't agree with what 2K said about the modern day of us, that's us. No, but I don't think that the I don't think that the white men said, "Hey, y'all don't have to uh kick them men out y'all house and we'll take care." I don't believe that. I don't think that that's true.
Oh wow.
Mm-mm. I don't. And that's only
What?
because I done research on that.
Okay.
And I've been doing research on that. I just don't think that that's true. That's what happened. I don't think that. I'm not gonna sit here and blame everything on the white man. No, no, that's not
Okay.
what that's not
Okay.
what happened to me. To me, that's not what happened.
Okay.
But I don't agree. Now that's 2K. If 2K think that's what it is, that's fine. I ain't mad at him or nothing. But I don't agree with
Yeah.
him with that. But
It,
I also do agree with him. Now I do agree with this part. So I do agree with him with some, but I don't agree with him with some. Now some women take advantage of the stuff. Now that was true.
okay.
Hey, Miss Fee. So he definitely right about that. But for him to say we modern white men, no, I don't agree with that. But he definitely got it that women they some of them use it to their leverage. He is right about that.
Okay. Okay. I kind of understand where you at.
Yeah. So okay, hold on, let me see. Black China said it best, and that's how I always looked at it. She said, as long as you showing the child love by spending quality time with them is all that matters. That's true too. Yeah, because the child look at hey Miss Fee, the child looks at um the time. The child not thinking about the money until they get older. The child thinking about the time. So that is true. Hey, my 2 cent. Okay, so hold on. We gonna finish up. We gonna click back on it.
because the law of the land say that they can't.
Okay.
So to me, do that make black women the new white men? Because they take on these roles in several different parts of black men's life. I feel like that's the leading cause of death for a black man. It's probably a black woman. No, I'm serious. And
Now,
Now he said
you
leading
guys hear that,
cause of
right?
death.
We're
Now, DM, did you hear that?
gonna go back just a bit right here, real quick, so we can land this plane again.
They do what?
in several different parts of black men's life.
I
I
think
feel
he
like that's
said
the
black women
leading
is
cause of
leading
death for a
cause
black man.
of
It's probably
black women is
law of the land
leading
say that
cause
they
of death
can't.
of black
Okay.
men, if I'm
So
not mistaken. Hold
to
on.
me, do that make
Pause it, Amber, so I can hear what you're saying.
I think 2K said, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think 2K said black women was the is the leading cause of black women is the leading cause of black men's death or something. Let me see. I don't know. Let me see. Let me
Girl, oh
rewind it.
wow.
Let me see. That's why I'm laughing because
2K wilding for that. Oh, keep going. Yeah, I'm loving that. I'm loving
Because they
it.
can use certain.
feel like black women are the same. Still knew that I could do it because we
Right here,
all
guys.
knew that
Pay attention to this part right here.
slavery was wrong. But as a white man, I got to enslave black people because that what was appropriate at the time.
I took it.
I knew that it was wrong, but I still knew that I could do it because people ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Who gonna stop you? You outcompeted. You won a competition.
Now,
this girl can cause a lot of problems for us.
You've gone too far. What did you do?
Is everything okay?
No, far from it.
This season has been intense. This can't be happening.
he said, okay, now peace to you, sister teacher again. Pay me the beef. I see you in here comments. I like the communication, guys. Lacey says, Rise family. Let's see, Duke of, I'm sorry, welcome in, Queen Lacey as well. And then Duke of OKC, providing for your child is abusing the system. Interesting you say that. All right, so the first thing he says is, you know something is wrong, but you do it anyway, right? Talking about when it came to enslaving another people, right? So he's saying the white man, but let's just say the slave master would enslave the slave, right? The black man, so to speak, if we're talking about just you know what I'm trying to say, guys. Transatlantic slavery, right? You know it's wrong, but you do it anyway. So what he's looking at is the system as a whole. When it's being weaponized, when it's being taken advantage of. He's saying that women in today's world know it's wrong, but they do it anyway. Okay, and that's the example that he's making. And then he moves on to giving his example of what he's talking about. Here's his example, guys.
And I feel like black women are the same way. Like right now, they have the leverage, and I feel like they kind of abuse black men. Like, for example, child support. You know it ain't right how they abuse the system, but they do it because they can get away with it.
Okay, you know it's not right how they abuse the system, but they do it so they can get away with it. So one brother said, let's see here, what's his name? Duke of OKC says, providing for your child is abusing the system. Let me explain this to you, okay? I don't know if you ever heard this, but child support in many ways is looked at as a weapon against the progression of black men. You could say men in general, but if we're talking about black men, is what he's talking about. We're going to keep it specifically to black men, okay? While it may seem a useful tool for providing for a child, on the flip side of that, it's a weapon to slow down his progression, okay? So child support has been often framed as a weapon against black men, or men particularly, okay? In discussions around family dynamics and system imbalances. The idea is that child support, while intended to ensure that children are financially cared for, it can be manipulated or misused in ways that go beyond its original purpose. Now, here's how this argument can be commonly framed, okay? Some men feel that child support is used by women as a tool of financial leverage rather than solely for the welfare of the child. In this scenario, the woman might strategically pursue child support as a way to extract financial resources from the man, sometimes without ensuring that the money is actually spent on the child's needs, or that this is a requirement because the child may actually already be taken care of by the father. When he's willing to, okay, to take care of the child, and then she does this, it's seen as a weapon. Okay, so it's particularly sensitive for black men who may already face economic disadvantages, already struggling to get ahead. Now they have child support they have to keep up with, right? They often feel like the man is in their pocket, that their back is against the wall, and they'll often be very upset with the person who did this to them, right? They believe that you should be able to work it out with them between adult to adult, however the case may be. Nevertheless, the power is completely taken out of his hands and hers, really, when she uses the system against him. All the money doesn't even go to her at this point. I think only half of it does, if I'm not mistaken. But again, for men who face economic disadvantages or systematic hurdles, child support just becomes another burden that taps into their limited resources. Hammer the Beef says this is a good topic. Thank you. And I want to kind of, I think that because we don't truly understand the gist of what 2K is saying here, that the actual thought is profound, but most people won't be able to grasp it because, frankly, they can't begin to. They don't have enough understanding of the other things he's talking about, and that's why I want to talk about this.
Thank you, Bless Queen, for that super sticker.
So let's talk about using child support to exploit the system. Okay, critics of how child support is handled argue that the system is biased against men, with the courts often awarding custody to the mothers and imposing significant financial responsibilities on the fathers without necessarily considering the father's involvement or the actual needs of the child. Okay, this can lead to situations where men feel financially exploited. You've heard the large amounts of child support that men have to pay based on how much they make. It makes them feel exploited, trapped. Do you understand? And you've heard many men say this. They have a real bad taste in their mouth when it comes to child support. All right. This can lead to situations where men feel financially exploited, as they might be required to pay large sums regardless of their ability to afford it, especially if they can't afford it, guys. But if they can't afford it, you'll see them have a fit about it, just like Tyrese did. All the money that you're having to pay out just doesn't seem to make sense. Children do not need that much money to survive. You know, there should be a cap on it, is what most people would say, right? Make it fair. But paying large sums of money is a part of it, and when you cannot afford it, to provide the actual level of care, and even the mother can't provide that level of care, it begins to feel very unfair. So Black men who may already be dealing with income inequality or employment struggles can feel this impact even more acutely or even more severely, right? Um, but I didn't know 2K said this. It's a very interesting point. He's going to go into explaining his point even more, but I just want to break down every little nuance so we can get to the bottom of it, okay? So we see this affects mostly men who cannot afford it. And I had a homeboy one time. Man, I saw him at Walmart. He had 2 children, and he was in Walmart looking pissed. And this ain't typically like my homeboy. I had never seen him like this. So I asked him what's going on. I'm actually on my way to work. I don't know what he's doing at Walmart that early, but he looks very upset. I think he might have been just getting off work. I think he might have worked third or something like that. But he in there looking mad. I asked him what's going on, and he said, "My girl got me for child support, bro. I'm only gonna get like $70 out of every one of my checks." And at the time, I mean, he's only making about $600-700 a week, and so they're taking damn near his whole check. And he was like, "Man, I'm telling you, because she did this to me, I ain't doing nothing else for them kids." He was buying them stuff every time he got paid. Just going over and beyond for his children, right? Obviously, birthdays was taken care of. Children about 3 or 4, like 4 years old and 3 years old. But he said he's not doing any of those things anymore. And I said, "Stop it, bro. You know you're gonna still take care of your kids." And that man said, "Fuck them kids." Like literally screamed it out, like "F them kids, man." I could see it in his eyes. He didn't mean it. His heart's broken. He can't figure out how he's gonna manage his life because he's talking about his place. I ain't gonna be able to afford that. I'm getting all the overtime they'll give me, and now I don't even know what I'm gonna do. He was so mad at this lady for taking out child support, and he was taking it out on the children. Now I didn't know what weaponizing child support or weaponizing children were, but I was witnessing them right there. In most cases, when men are backed against the wall like this, they would choose to back away from their own child.
Is that even legal? How much that boy was getting?
Parental alienation on a man's part when he chooses to not be in his child's life.
Hold on,
because the mother is too hard to deal with. The mother, child support, anything like that. That is him doing the same thing as the mother.
That amount, was that even legal?
No, he's probably in the rears, right? If he's in the rears, and let's just say he owes based on years that he wasn't paying, they could be trying to garnish that money. So his situation probably has compounded upon other financial difficulties or neglect that he wasn't handling the actual amount. But it seems like there's been some pressure put on his on him financially to get whatever he needs to get paid up. So it looks like they just was like, forget it. We're gonna take what we're gonna take. But go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm like, dang, it's because I know in this state you can't take but a percentage. And I want to say the percentage is like 40% maybe or whatever. You got to leave them with at least 60% of their check. But I do think child support is necessary. I do think it. I mean, and Black women ain't the only ones that's getting child support. So I don't know why it's just we being labeled, but Black women ain't the only one that's getting child support. But I do think that it's very much necessary. And a lot of we got a lot of Laonias in this world, and I know that. But we also have some good women in this world that just want the man to take care of their kids once they split, take care of their kids, and co-parent, and have a good relationship for the child's sake. And those men do everything but take care of their kids. So therefore, you are forced to put them on child support.
Well, that is true. I the thing of it is the difference uh of it is that um there's always gonna be some women who is not like the Lionians and just want the man to do right. A lot of these men have created uh, I guess, created this pattern of not stepping up and handling their business when it comes to children that they helped create. And I think over time, uh, it will cause for somebody to step in and say, okay, how do we mitigate this problem? How do we fix it? Um, but what 2K is going, okay, are we going from where 2K is at, or are we dealing with the child support situation within itself?
Well, both of them really.
Okay, well, 2K is trying to challenge everybody to think about the systematic way that is being handled.
I can't.
Systematically, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, systematically, this let me know if I'm getting choppy.
Okay.
Um, Systematically, you're not weeding out good dads versus bad dads. Oftentimes good men is getting swept up into the system of the child support within itself. Okay, so
Mhm.
if you got a deadbeat on your hands, that's one thing. Um, and he just doesn't want to acknowledge the child. Don't want to be in the child life. That's a whole nother situation. But when you have an actual father that may be going through jobs and financially can't afford his actual living situations as well as all his kids. So just imagine if he done got multiple baby mamas out here and everybody got their hand in his pocket for child support. He ain't gonna be able to survive.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, I'm gonna give y'all my example, my situation, and I don't care who in here. I don't care. This stuff is. I don't care who go take it, run with it, whatever. Okay, so with my child's father, we co-parent pretty good, and my child's father, my child's gonna be 14 next month on the first. So we were 23, 24, something when we had our child. And he was a lot younger. And he had already had two kids at that time. And his two kids were two when my son came. And um as as the years went by, I did not have him on child support, but I kept pleading for him to do what he needed to do to take care of our child. Meanwhile, the other two had went and put him on child support because they were tired of him ripping and running the streets and not doing for his kids, but he looking nice and stuff. So and he always worked, kept a job always. But he just was half stepping when it came to his kids. And so, um, finally, when my son turned 5, I wouldn't put him on there. And so then he has 3 kids now that's on child support to this day that
Uh
he's
huh.
getting child support taken out of. Now, mind y'all, now that fast forward because it's now his 2 oldest is 16 now, and then my son is getting ready to be 14. So he's totally different now. He, of course, well, he done humbled and got older and matured and, stuff like that. So now he paid his child support. I even had to give him props when Tyrese was fussing about his child support that he had to pay. My baby daddy ain't rich, but he had to go work out of town to make the money that he needs to make because he make good money out of town. He had to go work out of town just to make decent money and enough money to live off of because he has to pay 3 sets of child support. So, and he don't
Mm-hmm.
fuss. He don't fuss, nor guess what? When them kids call and they say, "Hey, can you send me this or can you send me that?" Guess what he do? He send it.
Mm-hmm.
He don't fuss. He
Mm-hmm.
don't do none of that. None. He do it. When school time come, Christmas, birthdays, everything, he always takes care of them. He goes
Right.
on everything when it's time when it with us. But if he would have just did this when he was younger and they were younger, he wouldn't be in this situation that he's in now.
Correct.
So,
Correct. Correct.
but I was forced to go put him on there because we actually all three of us was.
that's and that see in your situation, there's a lot of women who have to think about things like that because what happens is um you may be saying, you know what, your dad gonna handle his business, yada yada yada. But then he goes out here and gets somebody else pregnant, and you and that woman hear about, oh, you got such and such pregnant. Well, I know that's about to take away from what you already currently doing for our child. So now they are forced into a situation where they gotta almost compete for what this man financially is gonna be able to handle. So you got multiple women putting his brother on child support. So of course you can't just let these women take away from the one child that he already was sharing with you. So you're gonna. I've seen that happen. I've seen it
Right.
happen.
Right. Kevin in the building. He said peace.
Hello, Kevin.
Um, yeah, so I,
Salute,
I
King.
definitely I definitely agree with that. Hold on, Miss White said she said my son was very strong on not paying child support. He never wanted to be anyway, I can't talk right now and fought not to pay. He provided but definitely refused to have someone tell him when and how to provide. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's another thing. A lot of people don't want nobody telling them when. A lot of men don't want nobody telling them when to provide for their kids or when to take care of their kids and the money coming out and stuff like that. A lot of men don't want that. But I just feel like, and I know it's, don't get me wrong, it is some women. I know it is. It is some women that just, if y'all not together, they just gonna go put you on child support. I already know it. It is. It's a lot of them like that.
Well, they're gonna do that regardless. Like a lot of these women are having babies simply for the child support.
I don't know, cause I see a lot of women that don't be doing that kind of stuff, but the men be really pushing you to that limit. But it is a lot of Looney Tunes too. So I guess it's like 50-50, maybe D Ham. Can we agree on that? There's probably like 50-50. It's 50 Looney Tunes and 50 women that ain't like
Uh,
that.
I think it's 80-20. I think it could be
No,
90-10.
D Ham, I can't go for that one now.
It's bad, Amber. In our community, this is why 2K is speaking on it. I don't. I'm still. We still going over what Kevin thoughts is about it. But in our community, this is why he's leaning towards systematic control because systematically, and you may not understand it, Amber, as a woman, but systematically, um, our race of people, we are jacked up. We are jacked up, and oftentimes we don't even understand how bad the system has gotten because we've been conditioned to feel like this is how we gonna survive.
Yeah. Well, at least Kevin said it better than you. Gave us a better percentage than you, D Ham. He said it's at least 60% or 40%.
What Kevin
As you
say?
did, I said.
Oh my God! When you got songs out here called Tatianas and stuff like that, man, these brothers going through it. They going through it. You got these
Yes,
Tatianas out here getting all the bread.
I agree. Serenity speaks. It's a lot of deadbeat dads, and a lot of deadbeat moms too. And you know what? Deadbeat moms are not spoke on a lot either. They don't talk about deadbeat moms, but it's a lot of them. Um um and somebody else said something. Okay, some women do it because they are bitter. Yeah, a lot of them are bitter, but a lot of them are not bitter. But there is a lot that are bitter and still want the baby daddy, like Erica Minna. She's bitter. She want her baby daddy. Okay, I want to play something for y'all that I got up. Um, since we on this part right here,
Okay.
since we on this part, since we on this child support part and all this stuff here. Hold on, y'all listen now. Hold on.
And I'm telling you, black men are responsible for her being masculine because we have not helped to raise them children. I am. And when I say help them raise them children, I don't mean you as the stepdad. No, I mean you as an active member in the community. She got masculine because she had to become masculine in order to deal with the rape, the abuse, the domestic violence, the disappointments that men had in her life, and also raising those kids and have to take care of herself all at the same time. The black woman has been the be all in all in our community for half of a century, and now we want to turn around and say because she didn't do it perfectly enough or remain feminine enough when she had to absorb our responsibilities plus her own, that's insensitive and disingenuous. And I'm telling you. So what you guys say about that?
I disagree.
Hell you.
I disagree, ladies. I disagree.
Why?
I disagree. To a certain extent.
Okay.
I think it goes back to a lot of things that we're like we're what we're doing is we're programming ourselves not to look at it from the broader stroke of things. We don't want to accept the first part of this where he's trying to tell you that this reminds him of slavery. When you want to void that out the picture and only get to how we got and don't want to understand how we all got here and arrived here, then we're leaving out key details to what is wrong with our culture.
Okay.
So if the black man, first of all, um, is being oppressed by the white man, and I know we can't put this all on the white man, and I'm not trying to do that, but these are symptoms of how we got here. So if the white man has oppressed the black man, has caused it almost difficult for him to understand how to remain in the home and protect and provide for his family. What he did was he limited the black man. So now the black man is being limited, and also he's being incarcerated. So when you're doing these things at a rapid pace, at a rapid pace, where black men goes to jail more frequently than white men, all of these things takes the man out the home. So when a man is being taken out the home, okay, um, and the women are now having to fend for themselves, that is cause and effect. So you have women having to figure out how to fend for themselves. Not only is it cause and effect, but it goes from generation to generation. So as as generations become uh, more conditioned to be able to receive it, then that's what happens. Then we went through what they call the crack epidemic, where we understand the CIA put all that crack in our neighborhoods, which would cause it to be more dysfunctional.
Yeah.
So it's not just the black man.
No. That's what caused it there. When they flooded the neighborhoods with crack cocaine. That's what started it.
And it caused the black man to say, "Hey, I'll make more money versus
Selling
being in
drugs.
versus being at General Motors somewhere, or
There
being
you
in
go.
Bethlehem Steel somewhere. I'll make more
Yes.
money on the corner."
Yes. So Kevin said he excluded. He talking about Dr. Umar. I think Dr. Umar should run for president. He excluded. Dr. Umar love us black women. He take up for us. He excluded. He excluded that she chose a bad partner. She chose a bad partner and how she became single. He's correct about it take a village. Even if a relationship break down, family and friends should help. I believe in a tribe. And that is what we don't have anymore. We don't have that village anymore. And that's pretty much what we're seeing in these kids, and why parents are having such a hard time now. It's because we don't have a village that we used to have. But did even speak on about He got on some. He got on them same boys about Pookie and Ray Ray type guy. Matter of fact, hold on. I'm about to let y'all
Did he?
listen to that. Yeah, yes, he did. I'm finna let y'all get it. Hold on.
Okay, now.
But systemically, as black men, what are we doing about that? Nothing. Black boys are the most unemployed teenager in America. What black men do? So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that, and then we want to act like we didn't play a role. We have to be held accountable for their poor selection. No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry with us. We have not been on our job as black men. If the men are the providers, what have we been providing for our community? I'm not speaking you individually. Yes. Because you might be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father, but guess what? What are we doing for the community? What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years? And the minute she raised her voice, we say she's not humble enough. She had to become masculine to survive the rape, the molestation, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that? I understand that, but she needs to be more selective. If we was loving our women and taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history. If she's picking Pookie and Ray Ray instead of you're making her a scapegoat. No, she's picking a scapegoat. No. There's good quality men that they ignore. Why she even got it? Why is there even a Pookie in the selection? You gotta ask her. No. I'm gonna tell you why there's a Pookie in the selection. Wow. Because black men have abandoned black boys and have allowed social media, white media, athletes, and rappers to raise them. That's why she with Pookie. If we never allowed Pookie to develop, she would not have a Pookie. If we're going to be men, the first thing we got to do is take responsibility for why our women feel the way they feel. I can hear that. I'm not saying that they're right to disrespect, because even if a woman disrespects me, right, that still don't give me a right to disrespect her because she's still the queen of the community. Even if she's not acting like it, I'm going to give her that respect. But when I hear brothers talk like this discourse we having now, we act like we don't understand. No, there's reasons for that shit. I do understand. Women are so valuable. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think women ground men and help them, propel to the next level. I think men get further in life with a woman, right? But if I'm a hardworking man, but I'm only looked at as resources, okay, and then she's ready to jump on Tom, Dick, and Harry because he got flash, he's shining a little bit more, his access to money is quicker than mine. It's kind of hard to have that. Well, no. One, I agree with you, but that's not all sisters. No, it's not. And if you're constantly running into that type of woman, then the problem is you, because you're attracting a certain low vibrational energy. Why not have that same energy for women? You just again, you have because we having a conversation as men. Yeah, I got plenty of interviews with all women where I check them too. All right, but as a man, you should not be concerned about what I say to them. No. As men, we should be concerned of what we're going to do to produce a better generation of black males for tomorrow. That's the only that is where we should be focusing. So what I'm saying is
That's facts.
Yep. So
Okay.
what you got? What you got for that one?
What Dr. Umar is speaking on is he's trying to hold the black man accountable. He's trying to hold black men to a place of responsibility. Those are actual facts, but that is not the root cause of our issue, because it's pretty much beyond. Um, it's pretty much a collective. We have to now not point the finger at and give the women and let the women off the hook for choosing wrong men. We can't. We can't do that. Hold on. Hold on,
You
Amber.
about to call me
We can't.
upper.
We can't. Yeah, I almost did. Cause you know I mean. You know me and Upper go at it. I know she in the chat too. I better
Yeah,
watch
she
what I
just
say.
said a Do you have? We don't want any more excuses.
We cannot allow women off the hook for how they choose their men as well.
But did
Now
you?
go ahead.
But did you hear what Dr. Umar said? They don't have a good choice because the men upper crazy. Because we don't have a good choice because ain't nobody raising these men, these black boys.
I that's the part. That's the part that I think the men needs to accept and take accountability for. You understand what I'm saying? So
See, now listen, look what Kevin said. Kevin said
yeah,
Dr. Umar is making great points here. Even men have to admit we didn't see many good male role models. That's true. Thank you, King. Now admit it. Admit it. Admit it. Admit it, D
I'm
Ham.
not. I'm not where
D
Kevin's at
Ham,
right now.
upper, get your belt. Upper, get your belt.
Kevin, you better get up out of here. You making it bad for me right now. No. Because us men, we gonna hold each other accountable. That's what Dr. Umar's trying to do. But the when he's talking about the uh the state of our generation and how it got here, he's trying to put all the burden of responsibility on the man. And it's almost difficult to do that. Well,
But
I can't say
actually he's not. He said the man even came back and said, "Well, what about the woman and what they do?" He said, "I have podcasts with a whole bunch of women, and I checked them too."
okay. Okay, so he's on a podcast with his brother and he's trying to keep it generalized to
To
his
the men.
statements now to the men.
Mm-hmm.
I can receive the accountability from Dr. Umar and how he's trying to um, really articulate that and make it make sense. But what I'm saying is that how we got here is not simply because men wasn't doing what the men was supposed to be doing.
Well, how we got here? Don't you come talk about no white man.
Systematically. Amber, you don't want to believe it, but you don't get here overnight because your man want to be a Rolling Stone. You understand? You don't get here like this overnight. Systematically, we arrived here, and
Kevin, it's up at I got the link pinned up at the
where,
top.
where Kevin at?
He
Kevin
said
is
drop
coming
the
over
link.
here. We Kevin making it bad for me, but
He ain't make no. He said he's gonna make it make sense.
what was his percentage, Amber? What did he put in there?
He said 60 and 40.
60,
So
40?
40% of women. I'm 40%. I don't forgot what did I ask?
You wanted to know, was it 50-50? Like, women? Was it the women that
I think it's 60% Looney Tunes and
Okay,
40% good.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
It's up at the top of. I got it pinned. The link. I got it pinned up at the top. Black people can't live with too many people in the house when other races come over and live 20 to one house and get mad when they save their money and start buying up stuff. Then we blame, we blame the system. Yep, because black, you ain't lying. You ain't lying,
See, y'all are missing the point. You're missing the
Serenity.
point, ladies.
Yes, because we cannot live together. We get drunk, get the fighting and everything. We can't live together. Can't do it.
I mean, you look at the other coaches coming over here. They about to they taking over.
Who?
They taking over. We got the open border situation. Them jokers coming over taking over,
Sure
and
is.
they are piling up in one house so that they can get their coins.
You read Miss Love thing.
What she say?
She. You gotta accept that what she just said.
She
She
said
taking it back to
biblically,
the Bible.
the
What the
greater
Bible say?
responsibility lies
Yeah.
on the man because he is the sanctifier.
Mm-hmm.
He's the cultivator. He is the protector. He's a provider. He is the leader, and he is responsible. And it is his responsibility to lead.
Where Kevin at?
Now,
Kevin.
Miss Love. Now, Miss Love. Now, me and you had a great time on Royal D's platform. I don't understand how y'all want to skip over the slavery part.
We can't keep hollering about no slavery.
I don't understand it because the root cause
Well, how
um a
we
lot
gotta
of
go to D-Ham. We're gonna have to go to therapy to get over slavery.
well, no, what I'm trying to say though, Amber, people to this day still have effects from the system of what was implemented to cause the divide, right?
Mm.
I mean, people still talk about light skin, dark skin.
Yeah, yeah, I hate that too. Hey, Kevin.
Peace, peace. What's up, y'all?
Hey.
Salute, King. Salute to you.
Peace, peace, man. Listen, um, yeah, I don't know why when I try to come up there on my page, it want me to log in and shit. I don't remember my password like that, so
Oh.
I'm here though. Yeah, so yeah, D-Ham, I say at least 60-40. Now that's at least because it can definitely be 70-30, and you could stretch it up there to where you were. But I just say, okay, let's just be nice about it. It's at least 60-40, at least.
Okay.
At the very least. But all right, so what Dr. Umar was doing, he was dropping some gems right there. But
Right.
I think his only mistake on the second one is he's confusing blame or fault with results. So
Okay.
when relationships break down, right, and either person forsakes their parental obligation, that's on the parent that does that. But how that relationship goes down, that's based on those two couples, right, or those two people.
Mm-hmm.
But the result of a broken home is single parenting. In most cases, men are not present. So men are often looking for a male role model, and they find that in their older peers. And often that's
Mm-hmm.
horrible advice. And in my neighborhood, where I grew up, it was the more women you slept with, the more man you
Right.
were. The quicker you were to fight, the more man you were. And so
Yep.
we're getting negative reinforcement and being taught that's what makes you a literal man now.
Right.
So, DM, you got to think, in all those years when we were young boys running women, you know, we broke a lot of hearts. And I don't know how you were, but I know I broke a lot of hearts.
Yes.
So when you hear women talk about men ain't shit, they don't do right, I'm one of those men back in the day.
Right.
You understand? Because I was chasing being a man. I thought that that's what being a man was. My older cousins, my own daddy one time told me I wasn't a man if I ain't getting none. It's a long story.
Right. Right.
But I mean, these are things that you hear growing up that you feel like you have to live up to. It's kind of like a rites of passage.
But
You see what I'm saying?
let me ask you something, Kevin. Was your father in your life?
Yeah, he was in my life. He was in my life more than most people had a father. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
I live with my grandmother. He worked a lot. We saw him every couple of weeks or something like that, right?
You want some?
Right.
But it was one time I went to the movies with this girl, and well, long story short, my brother was teasing me because I was a virgin at the time, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, mind you, I'm pretty young now. I'm like 15. I'm a virgin. My brother's clowning me because he wasn't a virgin, and I thought I say, well, I at least fingered a girl, right?
Right. Uh-oh.
I fingered a girl at the movies. And listen, my pop said, boy, if you he said, boy, if you got your fingers in that coochie and you didn't hit it, something wrong. Now listen, that's horrible advice for a father to be giving his son. You don't understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But that's the advice he probably got from his father. You see what I'm saying?
Correct.
And so he definitely wouldn't have given that advice to his daughter. You see what I'm saying? Because we as men don't raise our daughters like that. So that came from my own daddy, not some older man in my life. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Correct.
A man would never tell his daughter that. If a man get his fingers in that coochie, you supposed to let him hit. You know he ain't about to say no shit like that to his
Get to his
daughter.
God.
Facts.
So men are kind of raised to go out there and get it. And this does contribute to how women see men. We got to take accountability for the women, at least that we've played in our life, the women that we hurt in our life, knowing we wasn't serious, knowing we didn't like her, and made her believe that. You see what I'm saying?
I understand
Or
that.
you wasn't even serious. Neither one of y'all was serious, and she got attached to you, and you just pushed her to the side or whatever. This hurts them, and so we have broke a lot of hearts. They've broken ours too, so they do have to take accountability for that. It's a lot of young men out here who really cared about girls, and I was one of those men too. The first girl I really liked, I was still a virgin, and she didn't like me. She liked the dudes that played her. She liked the cool dudes, you would call them, right? So you kind of become who women like, and when you become that, you traumatizing them because they act like they don't like that guy, but they ain't talk to you when you was a square.
That's the point I'm making, Kevin. Because back in the
Uh,
day,
uh, uh, uh.
the girls wanted to be with the drug dealers. You know,
We
they didn't
tired of
want.
hearing about. We tired of
But
hearing
see,
about that.
my thing, the reason what makes Dr. Umar right though is those young girls also weren't raised by men just like we weren't. So their views, what they
Right.
were seeking was had no structure. They wasn't looking for a father, a man like their father. They was looking for what they were taught in their community. Like so, men are taught as many women as
Absolutely,
possible.
Kevin. You hit it
Women
spot
are taught
on.
get this certain guy. We had the era where it was a roughneck. Now it's about how much money he got. But whatever the case may be, these are misconceptions that they pick up through not having both parents in the home to understand what relationships really supposed to look like. So they fantasize. You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
who gives structure? You have to say men. It's not men's fault. It's a result of men not being in the home.
Oh,
When relationships break
absolutely.
down, it's complex. It can be anybody's fault, but the result of broken homes is what we see in our society today, and that's the part I say is absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kevin. So what
And
was your?
even though D-Ham, it
Go
ain't
ahead.
like you're a good father. No, it ain't you, Kevin. No, y'all are good fathers. But it's other people that's messing it up for you all.
Right. And our children have to go out and live in the same community
You
as
there you
all the
go.
other ones and literally be
There you
contaminated.
absolutely correct. Yep, that's what it
Okay.
is.
So Kevin, I want you to help us here. Then, with
Okay, Miss White.
with our culture, it seems as if we struggle more when it comes to being more family oriented, right?
Right.
Um, why is that? Why do you think our our race of people struggles more with the concept of family and raising our children um and you know with the woman we laid down with?
So I believe it's all part of the cycle. Um, you go back, well, I think it's maybe 60 years. We had families together that stayed together. They lasted, right?
Uh-huh.
When homes break down, those children do not get to see a working relationship. They don't get to see what that looks like. So what they do is they recreate their own environment, and so this is growing. And then you look at the culture. In the 70s, man, people was dancing under a disco ball, really just having sex, bro. They was not trying to find people to really marry and look for long term, but they stood up. Man, if a man got a woman pregnant, he would marry her back then because even
Yep.
though culture was still broken down as far as how we went about finding a partner, we still had morals. and we just didn't leave children out there like that without fathers. So we would stand up and marry that woman. We starting to value marriage less and less because, I mean, frankly, when you take away, when you add in, now everybody working, the woman's not actually depending on the man. She doesn't want to stay home a lot of times. Men don't really value marriage the same because he wants someone to raise his children when she wants to be able to go out and work and live her life as well. You got to understand that. So as we evolve, I'm thinking that marriage, which is man-made anyway, is going to actually get less and less because of how men and women now see things. It's almost like we can't even, come eye to eye. Marriage was more, I think, was more harmonic when the woman depended on her man. So she didn't mind supporting him and feeding him and nurturing him because he went out and did the work. But when she works too, and a lot of times they want to work too, she can't do all those things for you and work too. And in a lot of cases, she feels overwhelmed when she has to do most of those things. So,
So is it fair to say when equal women fought for equal rights, a lot of that helped also break down the idea of family?
absolutely, but that's not to say equal rights is the problem. I believe everybody should have equal rights, but I think that what got lost in that is the feminist movement. It kind of pulled women away from understanding what family meant, getting lost in individualism. You are 100% important, but to a family, you're part of the puzzle. You're not the most important. And when you grow up and you have a child and you get married, it's not about you. It's about your family. And we got phrases like "happy wife, happy life," when it should have been, something else: "happy spouse, happy house." All
Right.
these type of things bleed into our psyche, and it deteriorates how we see each other, or we have more value on ourselves than we should, when we shouldn't. We should see ourselves as and here's the kicker. None of us were raised to understand what family is. They teach us all this stuff in school, but they don't teach us how to really operate in a nuclear family. And you can see that this has been done over the last few years to break down the family. You see what I'm saying? So that's the
Right.
goal. We spend more money when we're single. Um, we don't save as much at all whenever we're single, and so they want us to be nothing but consumers. And so the more you can do that, the more you have access to those children who you can further mislead into whatever you want them to be. Because now you don't.
Is Kevin talking?
He went away.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
We
we
can hear
hear
you
you
now.
now.
Okay, I said I think that's honestly the goal of the government is to break down the family structure. So, unfortunately, I believe they're using a lot of ideas to push women to help them to do that.
Okay. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Now, Amber, go ahead, Amber, because Kevin just ended on a great point. A
The
great point.
government. The
And I think
government.
I think the women. Well, look, Amber. Let me ask you, Amber. Was you at the Freakniks?
No, I wasn't old enough for no freak. I
we
was in
got
a
a lot,
state
and
of
we got a
child
lot
play.
of the true supporters that has admitted to being at the Freakniks.
Yeah, but I wasn't that. I was a child. I wasn't at the Freaknik. But what you asking about the Freaknik for?
Well, because women have to take responsibility here, Amber. That's
Oh,
what that's what
they
Kevin
was
just
being
said.
because all the stuff that went on at the Freaknik.
Well,
Yeah, it was crazy.
women has to take responsibility because
So,
Kevin,
Dham,
go ahead.
I ask you this, Dham. Let's say we ask women, okay, take accountability for the men you choose, right?
Right.
Now, at some point, you say yes, she has to take some accountability, but when you take in mind her background, she wasn't raised to know what the right man even looked like. How can she say, yeah, that's my fault?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Miss
So
White, you want to
so
say something?
Would you say it's her fault, knowing that if you could see her background and know her father wasn't in her life and her mama just had all type of men running around, and so she had no way of learning the right thing, would you still say, oh, that's her fault? Or would you say she's a product of her environment?
that's a good question. I mean, it would be a little bit of both. I think she would be a product of her environment, but she will perpetuate a cycle that is not unhealthy.
I agree. I can't disagree with you because at some point we all have our own minds to rethink about the life that was around us and choose to do something different. Because I could be out here raising my children like I was raised and saying it ain't my fault because I wasn't taught better. But I know better than to tell my child something like what was told to me. You see what I'm saying?
Correct.
So I do understand that um 100% accountability can't be solely given to the men or the women who out here, the young people today. You got to say it boils down to being raised in single hookup culture, where there's more broken homes than ever. Um, and honestly, the problem is it's a lack of men because most women are raising these children. And
But
so,
that's
Amber,
all I
I
got.
got a tough one for you, Amber.
Hmm.
Okay, so if it's true, if Dr. Umar is 100% correct that men should take accountability for how how women behave today, would you say that women should take accountability for how they've raised these children in the absence of these men?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so that would
Us-
mean that we got to come together and just fix it. It ain't even
And
worth
fix it. Correct.
trying to. Cause it's all of our fault. That's why I said it boils down to it's all of our fault.
Hmm. Yep.
What we seeing now, Kevin and Amber. Go ahead, Amber. You got
What
something
I
to say? Go
see,
ahead.
that's what I was saying earlier, Dham, was the finger is getting pointed. We're pointing between the black man and the black woman. We're pointing the fingers at each other. We never, it seems like we ain't gonna never get on the same page because we too busy saying, no, you this, why, that, and we won't, we're nobody is taking like really accountability on each other's part. But Dham, I did want to say about how everybody, and then you can get back to saying what you want to say. How you was like they want the drug dealers and they want the thugs and the. I never wanted a drug dealer at all because, and I'm gonna tell you why I never wanted a drug dealer. I never wanted a drug dealer because my oldest brother sold dope and he sold big dope.
Hmm.
My first cousin sold dope. Like my cousins, all of them, they sold dope, big dope. They was in the early 90s slanging big dope. And me and my sisters could get whatever we wanted from my brother. He spoiled us. But they sold the dope to our uncles. All my mom's brothers were crackheads at one point. But they're not no more, but they was. And so I've been around dope all my life. I didn't want to be around that no more.
Right.
So a drug, I hate the sight of drugs. It don't excite me. I ain't never smoked weed in my life. Smoked cigarettes, blacks, all that stuff is disgusting to me because I seen so much of it growing up.
See, you what they
Correct.
would call a cycle breaker. You see what I'm saying? Some people grow up in those environments and literally hate it, and they don't choose that. But then some people, their consciousness just isn't that aware, so they don't have those thoughts. They just do what they see being done without questioning if it's right or wrong.
They do what they used to.
Right? Exactly.
Yep.
And most
Okay.
people are like that, which is sad. And so that's why society looks the way it looks. So I would say if we all came together and said, look, it's our fault. Let's clean it up. Let's be the change we want to see. Let's start now. Then we'd be somewhere. But
Hmm.
as long as we shift and blame, we never gonna get anywhere.
Yep.
I
That's
It ain't
agree
right.
it
with
ain't it
that.
ain't men's fault that weren't there. It's both of our fault. Some men left, some women pushed them away. So
Hmm.
but the result of not having a man in the house though it is what we're seeing today. It's actually statistically men who are single parents. They raise children more structurally than women do. You understand? So women are there for nurturing, not for structure, and it
Right.
proves that.
Yep.
And so we need each other.
Fact.
You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you take a woman who has to work a full-time job. There's just really no way she's going to be able to give those children structure when you got the schools that's a melting pot of different morals and all these different things where your child going to be diluted with different rites of passage. You can raise your daughter to say, listen, don't be sleeping with people, save yourself. By the time she get to school, they're going to convince her otherwise. And she's going to see everybody doing the same things and she'll eventually become that. You see what, regardless of what her mama
Fact.
told her. Then you
Yeah.
got some women who had their daughters twerking online. But if you
Yep.
ask me, what's worse? letting your daughters twerk online or encouraging your son to go out and get ass. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
That's horrible advice.
Yeah.
It's
It
it's
is.
all bad. I just
It's
feel
all
like
bad.
oftentimes, like when women are raising these kids, it's almost as if they become blinded by the realities that they're going to be exposed to, and what, like you just said, Kevin, you are letting them twerk online and do these type of things. And even when it comes to the young men, they allow the young men to be overnourished to where now they having feminine traits and all of this other stuff going on.
True.
And you got the
Mm-hmm.
women who don't think nothing's wrong with it, and how they're like, you got to ask yourself, do you want your sons to really grow up to be their own man, and or do you care about what he's exposed to, you know, and what you allow him to do around you. You see what I'm saying? And then sometimes you can give them too much of you, where you're now smothering him, making him into this weak man that he doesn't understand. Hey, I got to, even though dad's not here, I still got to be able to grow into a man and take care of my own family one day. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of times that get lost. And now we have this generation that we're in now, that these kids confused of which bathroom they supposed to be going in to use.
Man, listen, man, what you just said is a gem. I got a story for you that brings all that to light. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was life coaching a MMA fighter, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm over his house, and he's wrestling with his son. He's teaching his son how to do MMA fighting. He's got the coach right there, and some of the other ladies that work for him and stuff are standing around in the same room, right? So
Right.
he has his son on the ground, and he's saying, "You got to get me off of you. You got to get me off of you." And he's not on him that tight, but he's trying to tell him, "I want you to use your strength and try and force me off of you." But his son, he's got his son for the week. So his son don't live with him; he lives with his mother. So he's just trying to toughen him up and wrestle with him, right?
Right.
He can see his nature's very soft, so he's trying to work with him. So he got the coach and stuff in there and all that stuff. They're working with him. He says, "Get me off of you." The son just starts crying, and he won't get off of him. And all the women are saying, "Get off him! You see he's crying. Get off of him! You see he's crying." Even the coach
Right.
was like, "Come on, man. Won't you just let him up?" No, I'm not letting him up. I ain't listening to none of y'all. You see what I'm saying? Now,
Uh-huh.
Lacey was
Mm-hmm.
with me at this life coaching session, and Lacey was even saying, "Man, won't he get him?" I said, "You got to let this. This is his son. If he's ever in a group, if he's ever at school or anywhere where a bunch of boys are backing him in a corner, they are not gonna walk off because he cries. He
Right.
needs to learn how to stand up for himself, and that's what he's trying to teach him. This is not him bullying his son. It's not him abusing his son. It's him trying to teach his son something that he ain't gonna get nowhere else. So you got to let
Correct.
this happen. These lessons are not easy to learn. You see what I'm saying? And it's
Correct.
definitely not easy for a woman to watch that, let alone teach that. She can't teach that. You need a man in the
Kevin, you went
let
out.
me up or leave me alone. Ain't gonna make
Okay.
none of them boys get up off of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so he was trying to teach him how to be brave and stuff like that. But eventually he went on here, had to let him get up because the boy just wouldn't try. But it was pathetic. But you know,
And this
that's what it
and
looked like whenever you're not in this life like you want to be though. And men hate that. When they see their
it's
son and stuff, they can be better at sports, and all this goes to the confidence of that young boy. So when he's not
absolutely
raised with his father, he's pushed. He actually ends up getting pushed away.
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
and that was we seen a when Boys in the Hood came out. Y'all remember that movie?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When
When
when when
Trey had to move
with his
um
father,
yeah.
because what the mother was saying is, I can't teach this young man how to be a man, right? So
Mm-hmm.
even though they were separated and they were single parenting, the father had to take ownership and responsibility and show his son and put some boundaries around him to let him know, look, you see the freedom that the other kids across the street got. Just watch how
Mhm.
that end up for them. And
Yep.
he had to instill some things into that young man, Trey. You see, and then when the father got back and sitting across the mother, she said, "Well, don't, we ain't about to throw you no party. This is what you was supposed to do. Don't act like you somebody special because you finished raising your son, which was your son." But see, we got these simple-minded women today that's trying to keep their sons from the father, keep the daughters from the father, and that's why the children are coming up with all kind of daddy issues.
You're right.
Yeah. It's
You're
some of
right.
them that do. Miss White, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Well,
Um,
welcome, love.
Hi everyone.
Peace,
My
peace.
response to what Kevin was just speaking on about the dad training his son is because we women, we are emotional creatures. Like we
Hmm.
make our decisions based off our emotions. Where
Yeah.
men they have more analytical decisiveness where we don't. We emotional creatures. And sometimes we know what may be best for that child, but how we feel emotion. Oh, let him up. You're hurting him. Don't do that. And that part kicks in.
Hmm.
So with a dad not being in the house, who's even giving them that part? You know what I'm saying? Kevin made a comment. I saw his comment. I can't remember the word he used, but we call it villaging, where we are raised
Uh-huh.
in a village, right? And he was speaking on like if a parent wasn't in the home, that community helped out as a whole.
Mm.
Um, my husband was, I think, 10 years old when his father passed away. And he always speaks of how all those men in the community rallied around him and his brothers and helped their mom raise them. Like nobody left it just to her. They was like, when they say we got you, they meant that we got you.
Hmm.
And you don't see that anymore. And I also wanted to comment. I saw Miss Love's comment. She went biblical on you, Dham.
And she sure
And
did.
They did.
I'm not gonna disagree with it because I believe that. But also, it depends on what you're reading in the Bible. Because if you go to Proverbs 31, the woman did the work. The man sat back and he was called blessed because he had a hard working woman. So it just depends on what you're reading in the Bible and what's going on during that time. And my last thought that I had with him is he was so stuck on the slavery part, and he's not wrong because they made it hard for the black families. They separated the black families. They say, hey, we'll give you this welfare. You don't need the man. It was strategically done. But when 2K made that comment, I looked at it um kind of on the same level, but I looked at it more or less as when he said it in a way where when the slave owners, when they didn't get what they wanted or somebody else could outbid them, they would split that family up and you didn't get to see your child. So I thought 2K was coming at it from that angle where the woman was just being malicious as the slave owners were back then, because if they didn't have their way or couldn't get what they want, they would just split the family up completely. And that's how they controlled you and got what they wanted.
Yeah, that's one of
But
the
I
things I
think
mentioned on my live yesterday when I was reviewing 2Ks, that in many ways we treat each other like the slave master treated slaves.
I always try to encourage people to read the Really Lynch letter, but it's hard to get us. They say if you don't want them to know something, put it in a book. But it's so hard to get anybody to even read that Willie Lynch letter to have a better understanding of why they even begin to do some of the things that they did.
It's absolutely mind blowing and next to impossible to believe that somebody could plan it out and it worked that well.
Man,
Some of the things it said, make them hate each other over the skin tones.
Mm-hmm.
separate them and treat them differently by their hair textures and skin tones. And that way they'll learn this behavior and they'll perpetuate this behavior themselves. And then we don't have to do it for them. You're like, dang. And this is how he's telling guys, if you don't understand the Willie Lynch letter, it's him writing a letter to America, telling them how he keeps his slaves in check. So there's so many slave revolts and stuff happening in America. And so he's saying, this is how I keep my slaves in check. He sends this information to America. They adopt it. And look at us today. We are more in check than ever. They don't even need chains anymore.
That letter went from home to home, from slave owner to slave
Absolutely.
owner, and they all
Absolutely.
began to adopt it. And
They
look,
used to treat us all the same, light skin or dark skin, until those letters, guys. So when you hear about field niggas and house niggas, all this came from the Willie Lynch letters. And to this day,
mhm,
we perpetuate that. It's unreal how psychological this stuff is. So it's like we're teaching the slaves now. We're training them. It's unreal.
mhm, mhm,
And that was my point, Miss White, and hello to you, Queen, and Kev.
Peace.
That was my point. It wasn't that I'm trying to say let's blame the white man, but if we look at the root causes of our culture, when I look at um, the society today, is being infested uh, with the open border, and different races are crossing this border, right? And
mhm,
and and uh and they don't have the systemic things that we have going on in our culture. So when we look at the root cause of how did we arrive here, how did we allow the Jews to control rap music, and now the only thing they promote and on a spin cycle is women shaking they butt, and men looking like they can have a room full of women and not be committed. How did we get here, right? So how did we get here where we calling our black queens hoes and bees and everything under the sun, and it's acceptable? Now you have the sexy red talking about inside of her vagina, and you have all of these people, and we think that it's minor because we don't maybe
Minor. I'm just playing. Go
yeah,
ahead.
there we go, because we don't we don't condone it completely, but because you don't have to go to uh, a record store any longer and actually purchase the album. But we have consented to it. And we consented to all of this stuff, and anything that our ears hear and our children hear that's acceptable, and that we have allowed as a community say, okay, we're going to push this type of music to our community. And we're going to make these people billionaires as we do it. As Kevin said, we are now the consumer. We had literally produced every last Jay-Z and P. Diddy, and we the one created these guys to become billionaires, because everything that's acceptable comes through the black community first. We we put our stamp of approval on it, and we say this is the trending thing that we gon' consume. And so once we do it, the Jews, how did they control the music industry, knowing that we were the talent? So, and we allowed it in our community while we selling drugs to our in the early '90s. We selling drugs. We selling the NWA albums and all of this. We're we're infestating our own community with this type of rhetoric. That's why I asked Amber, did she go to the Freaknik, the Loop? All of that was acceptable behavior.
And so you have to be careful what you ask for, because you remember when NWA went to court. They went to court and they fought for the right to say whatever they wanted to say on their in their lyrics, right?
Correct.
And they won. And that was the beginning of the seeds being sown.
Hmm.
It's crazy,
And
but
I didn't even know they went to court. And did you tell
Oh
them
yes,
yourself,
baby. They
Umar?
fought that
oh
thing
yeah,
all the way through.
To be
oh yeah.
uncensored.
Now
Go ahead.
listen,
Go
I
ahead.
But
I,
see,
be- I believe in that 100%, but freedom of being able to say what you want on your music, but at the same time, and I can't blame this on black people. I can say black people contribute to that style of music, but black people also make higher vibrational music, more conscious music. The problem is it's systemic, but they don't put it on the radios, so people don't know who these artists are or about these songs for people to buy. And so what most of our young black men do and women do is they make music according to what sells. You understand? Because
According to
and so
what
now they're
sales.
trying to chase a genre of music because it sells, not because that's their actual interest. A lot of people writing this music, they don't even do what their lyrics say. You understand? And when you tell them that, hey, you're breaking down our society with the things that you're putting in your music because our children listen to it, they'll say, well, stop letting your children listen to it. You see, and it's crazy because this is not other cultures. White folk will not allow country music to have that shit in it. I'm telling you now. They'll
You
never
see what
allow
they
it.
just did to Beyonce at the at the awards.
Right. You'll never see this in any other genres of music heavily like that, like it is. And you gotta think, country songs, they talk about separations and being done wrong all the damn time, but it's with class, it's with they sing about drinking and they dog, right? But they ain't gonna have putting ecstasy in a woman's drink when she ain't looking and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And what color they asshole is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just not gonna hear that because they're not about to let their children hear that crap to that country music. You see what I'm saying? So it's crazy
Now,
that
now
negative
I've always
reinforcement
wondered.
becomes everything that drives our culture. Everything
I've
negative gets
always
pulled up.
wondered. You know how we thrive? It's something innate in us. We thrive towards the negative things, right? So I always wonder if, because West Coast had its own sound back then. What we listened to down south, the West Coast had a whole different sound. So do you think that way back then that NWA music would have been as popular had it not been the court? Because I don't think it was the sound that made them popular. I think it was the circumstance. And people was like, they wanted to hear it because they wanted to know what was being said that they gotta now go to court for it.
Right,
You
but
you
see,
get what I'm
they
saying?
wasn't rapping. Right, I do, but they wasn't rapping about drugs and women. Remember, they were saying "f the police"
Right, right, right.
because of all the police violence. You see what I'm saying? So they would look
Right,
at that
right.
more like
Understood.
inciting
What they
music.
were talking about, killing, and it
Yeah,
was
killing
gangster
each other
rap.
and stuff.
Yeah,
It wasn't the
killing
rap you
our
hear
own.
today. Right. That's where it's gotten to.
But I just wonder, was it so much the sound that people were attracted to, or just because? Like, for instance, look at the Diddy situation. Look how his music has skyrocketed since he's been incarcerated. Because now the ones who didn't know his music, they now want to know it. You know, things like that. It's just like when an artist pass away, they sell skyrocket because we just thrive towards the negative things. So I always wonder that because it started out as that, but look how much bigger it has gotten since then. Because the first rap song I ever heard with a cuss word in it was Roxanne. Y'all remember Roxanne?
Yeah.
Roxanne?
Yeah.
And it was only at the end when they said, "Did he take you to the beach?" And she said, "Hell no." In the middle of December when it's 20 below.
Right.
So that was the most cursing I had ever heard on the radio.
Because music was censored, right?
Hmm.
That's what they were fighting. That's why would you make a great point where you say that's probably what propelled music to be so outlandish today is because they fought for the right to be able to have freedom of speech in their music. And what
Right.
happened is it has opened up Pandora's box because now it's where it's almost the new drug or it's the new thought. And oftentimes if you're rapping about popping mollies and I think I don't know if it was Two Chainz, somebody that was rapping about popping some Percocet. Um, you're rapping about this stuff. That means that our kids are going.
Yeah. But see, y'all, we can't blame it all on rap music either. Because if you go back to some of the blues music that was played when I was younger, they was talking nasty stuff. And we all know that whatever you listen to, what you feed your soul to, is what's on your mind.
Yep.
Whatever you feed it, whatever kind of music you listening to, Whatever those lyrics are saying and doing, that's what's in your mind. That's what's feeding your spirit. And that's what you want to do, you know? And it's different genres of music. Even the country music, they talk about some little wild and crazy stuff too. It's just any kind of music. It's what you download into your soul is what you're gonna want to do. Music is contagious. It captivates us, and it has a lot to do with our life, our well-being. If if an old song
Music is
come
very
on right
powerful.
now,
You're so right, Miss White.
if an old song come on right now, I can tell you exactly what I was doing then.
Me
Ain't
too.
thought
It's,
about what
it's,
I was doing at that time. But let
yep.
a certain song come on, I'll be like, oh, that was 1980. I was such and such and such and such and such. And I was that, it comes back to you instantly.
I once did a live topic where I said some of the songs that we remember the most are, and this is crazy, but it's some of the songs that we started having sex to early in life. We remember them songs like a
Yeah.
buzz.
Yeah.
So I think back to when them old heads was showing, let me hear songs like this was my song back in the day. Now I'll be like, man, he probably was fucking to that song.
Yep.
But you can see how music's changed back in the day. Love music was more about romance. They're singing about giving a woman the sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, and the
Yeah.
rivers, right? Now
Johnny
they just say
Takers.
now they just say pull your panties to the side. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And the women
Yep.
sung about being in love and what heartbreak felt like and wanting this person
Hmm.
back and stuff. Now they singing and rapping about not even wanting this man, using them for his money. You know what I mean? So it's the music, and then you've got this been happening for a while. It ain't just now happening. Foxy Brown, you had a lot of other artists, Lil Kim and stuff, who was doing this back in the day. But it seems
Hmm.
like when black people decide to rap, it's like that's what we have to rap about, or you can count on it never going anywhere for real, for real. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not going to be on the radio stations. You're going to be an independent artist. You're not going to get the glitz and glamour. And then what we learn now is they never had it. This is what's crazy about the system, yo. They make the children at home believe that these artists are really getting paid big bucks. They make it look like they're all over the place and got millions of dollars. Then you learn years later that they were upside down in these contracts, barely getting by. So they make you want to be an artist so you can live this amazing life, but it really doesn't yield that. And now you forsaking your values and contributed to all this music that ain't doing us no good. And by the time you get done with it all, you regret it.
Yep.
And it's all a facade. As a child, you don't understand it. And you go from a child to a teenager, from a teenager to a young adult, from a young adult to an adult, still chasing false hopes and dreams.
Right. Any of us would have thought
And
TLC
that's
was
where it
big bread. A
starts.
lot of these different artists, we'd have thought they was big. TLC was broke. They wasn't getting paid. They was everywhere. This is one of the biggest groups that we've seen, y'all. And so these people are speaking out about this stuff now. And you're like, wow, yo, imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine the world thinks you're living your dreams, but you can't help nobody. You ain't got nothing. And nothing you can do about it. You see what I'm saying? Like it's crazy.
Mhm. And it starts with what you're downloading into your spirit, and all the way up to her very topic right now, as child support and all of that, because everybody just living in a facade. Um, Listening to certain songs telling you you ain't got to do this, you ain't got to do that, but hey, it's a real world out there that says different. It's a real world out there, and
And
God knows in heaven. Y'all, I heard y'all talking about what a man can't teach his son and should be teaching his son. But let me tell y'all something. There is nothing worse on God's green earth than a daughter with daddy issues.
I know
Nothing
that's
worse.
right.
There's
Well, now listen,
nothing worse.
I tell you what, a formal debate, and man, you could go at it, because I think I ain't gonna say nothing worse than a man, but I can tell you this: they bad on both sides. A man without his father is quick to anger, and that makes him a dangerous man. So when you look
Yeah.
yep.
around, you see these men who think they tough, they thugs, they quick to shoot, bow bow, they get mad at you in the club because they jealous of you. They think they're hard, they think they're tough. They don't know they're overly sensitive men who use their strength for, like a child. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so,
Oh, I do.
right. So, and again, when a woman don't have a father, it leads to them seeking out all these men to fill these voids, and it's sad because, again, it's nothing going. It's going to be nothing but lives lost behind it. And that, with women, it's the next generation that's lost because she's not going to be out here hurting people, but she's probably not going to raise her children the right way or make them with the right
Right.
partner. Where the
Yep.
men are out here terrorizing, and so that's why
Now,
you
I'm
see
not
us
going to
filling up the
disagree with
jail
that at
cells.
all, Kevin. I did a live yesterday about Woody, and he speaks on that. He talks about how he lost so many loved ones, and the only examples that he had was the ones that's doing the very same thing that he's trying to not do now, and how he began to unleash his anger, but behind what he didn't have. So I do agree with that. I do agree
Yeah,
with that.
I had to learn that early in life. I used to fight all the time, and I had to learn what man frame was. That even when you angry, you're not supposed to lash out and just you're supposed to still think about it because a man fighting it really could be a murder charge. We're very strong, and then the consequences for us out there fighting and doing that type of stuff can land us in jail for life.
Yeah,
So
that's fact.
so you grow up as a young man, you think that, hey man, the better I can fight, the quicker I am to fight and make me a man. But the older you get, you realize that's actually pretty damn childish. You see what I'm
Oh
saying? Because
yeah,
you can throw your whole life away, your brother's life away over simple anger. And so women, a lot of cases, they weren't taught to restrain themselves, so they act out of their anger. They act it out. And so a grown ass man who act out his anger is a scary motherfucker. I swear to God, they dangerous
Yeah.
because they
dangerous.
can really mess something up behind being mad. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, yeah. He was speaking on it,
We
and
got
and
2K in the building talking about let
I
me
thought that
up.
was 2K. What up, 2K?
and actually, Kevin, he just spoke recently. He was doing some stuff with Charleston White, and they're beefing. A few months ago, Boosie said, "I ain't gonna argue with Charleston White because Charleston White's goal is to put me in prison." He said, "You'll never catch me out here arguing with him." So fast
Hell
forward,
no.
he fighting with this guy Woody now, and Woody has turned over a new leaf. Woody, he's talked so bad about Woody's little girl. He called her all
What
kind,
up,
a little
Swipe?
baby. He talked so bad about that baby. And
What up?
Woody said, "Well, all I'm gonna do is pray for you, cause see, you trying to trigger me to put me back in this place where I used to be. That I said I'm not gonna go anymore." So whoever's working with him, they're doing a hell of a job. But it used to be a time this man didn't play. He
Right.
Yeah,
didn't.
I don't say he ain't play, but he was definitely a crash out.
Oh
So,
yeah,
so if you a crash out, that don't make you like tougher than somebody. That just means you willing to lose it all, and you don't care who you take
willing to
down.
lose it all.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
2K
Hmm.
in the building. What's up, 2K?
What's up, man? A lot of y'all women for to go to jail when these laws pass.
What's the law?
You know, they say now if you go through your man's cell phone, that's a federal crime now.
Oh yeah, my days of doing that is over with.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been gave
y'all
that
going to
up.
prison.
It's over, bruh.
Yeah, it's over, bro.
You know
I,
what?
I I think this what Martin Luther King was dreaming about, man.
Hey, listen, hey, bro, listen. They gonna get themselves locked up. They gonna go live and say they found some shit in his phone. Oh, you
I,
did?
oh, I can't. Well, I can't
I
wait
say
till I
if
get my
you
wife locked up. I know she think it's a game.
You gonna leave that
This
shit
dog
face
think
up.
I had the jail. I can't
You gonna
wait.
leave that shit face up, man.
I say if you go through a man phone, you're gonna get what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's
So it's
always
probably
something there
best
for you now.
That's
that you leave that
crazy, bro.
alone.
Yeah,
Hey,
my days of doing that is over with. I've been gave that up. I
Yeah.
don't. I
How
don't.
many
I don't go
pounds?
through.
How many pounds did you lose when you learned your lesson?
I lost about 15 pounds.
Mm-mm-mm.
No, baby, you gotta. I mind my business now. I don't want to get my feelings hurt. No.
Had you walking around in a 3T round here.
Okay.
Set up 3T.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
man. I
I
went through
saw.
my gut phone one time, but my heart was in my stomach, man. I couldn't even. It took me about a week to get my appetite back. Yeah, better.
Man, that's
D-Ham.
crazy, bro.
What up?
D-Ham.
I'm right
Yeah,
here.
what to
I'm
do,
right
Oh,
man?
here. Can y'all hear me? What's good,
Absolutely.
2K?
What to do, bro?
Salute to you, King.
I already, man. Salute to you, my boy.
2K got us over here fighting.
Okay, well, my service was going in
D-Ham
and
about
out.
to get beat up. You got D-Ham about to get beat up, 2K.
Hey, I've been trying to take up for you, 2K, because they trying to do away with your theory.
They trying to do away
They
with my
try
theory.
your theory, yeah.
What was
What's
your
my theory?
stance? What was your stance on the white man and the child
You
support?
said a white man in child support.
The white man in child support. Listen, I'm controversial now. I can tell you with the truth, what I think.
Come on,
What,
because
what,
D-Ham about to get beat up because of you.
Well, y'all there for to beat me up. Well, honestly, I think that the black woman is the new white man.
We don't. I ain't no way in the world.
elaborate, please.
Uh-oh. Some black woman out the crowd that came and got choked them up.
You got swallowed up.
Mhm.
Now, two K, I reviewed your live yesterday. I mean reviewed your clip yesterday. I agree with you and added more to it, but I'll let you explain where you was coming from to Miss White. Hey, I'm gonna need your help, bro. So I got you. I got you. But no, so let's take it back to slavery, right?
I'm so sick of slavery.
White man, they knew that that slavery was wrong, and they probably shouldn't be. They probably shouldn't do it, but they did it because they had the law of the land, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the way that black women abuse child support and like the judicial system with the family is almost the same thing. Like
Your 2K going out.
yeah, you went out 2K. Hold your thought. Hold your thought. Wait till you come back in.
Hey,
Can you hear
baby.
me now?
We
Yeah,
yeah, a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I'm at a strange place right now.
Uh-oh, doing some strange things for
No,
cash,
I
huh?
got a show tonight. I'm getting ready for mic check in a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But just Kevin got.
Okay.
No, we need your theory. We need your theory.
I just told Kevin heard me speak on it already.
Oh,
Nah,
okay. So Kevin heard the whole thing.
you would really kind of made your point just saying how by using the judicial system and the different leverages that women have today, by abusing it, they have kind of taken the place of the white man by way of things that happen to black men via using these types of avenues. So like say child support, she's able to usurp his income. Um, and a lot of times they're doing it because of what the man has. Some of these men are paying 20, 30, $40,000 because she sought this man out just to do this. So she's in his pocket. He can't get ahead, and that's what the white man has done to us. They do things to prevent us from getting ahead. Another point was how they quick to call the cops and lie on us. And ruin our reputations and make it harder for us to find work. So it's like they can back in the day, the white man could strip your life, your legacy, your future, and everything from you. And some of these avenues give women the ability to do some of those same things to us. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
It does to me. Dehan was kind of going with, how the white man made laws and gave them welfare to separate the family. And I
Well, that's
don't
true.
disagree with
That's
that.
true too.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't disagree
nope,
with
that is
that
not
either.
true.
But
That ain't that.
I thought his point was more or less along the lines of, in slavery, when you didn't do right or you were cutting up, then that slave owner would separate you. He would, tear you down, separate the family, make you work hard and tell you your family is going to be back with you at X, Y, and Z time. If you do X, Y, and Z amount of work and that never came, depending on how you act, was how
Well,
he treated
close,
you.
close. I
So
made I
that's what
made this
I
point.
thought you were speaking of.
No, you're very close. I made this point yesterday. If you take paternity fraud, okay, so men paternity tests are failed up to 40% of the time when a man takes a paternity test.
Hmm.
40%. That's 4 out of 10, right?
Right.
So okay, back in the day, the slave master would take your child and sell it to anybody, right? Your child could be anywhere, right?
Hmm. Right out your arms.
So
Hmm.
by lying about paternity, they're essentially doing the same things. By eliminating pregnancies, they're still essentially doing the same thing. So what a white man used to kill our babies and sell them off, now they're doing it using the laws that's been provided to them. Yes, they have a right to their body, but they're doing it in such large numbers. They're being careless and reckless while having sex. a lot of this can be prevented if they just strap up, make the person strap up, and just be responsible. But they're kind of using it as a contraceptive, which they shouldn't use it as that. You got Plan Bs, you got condoms, you got all these different things, you know. And then on top of that, like I said, and 40% of the time, it's not even that man's child. So men out here are sleeping with women that other men are raising, and sometimes they don't even know about it. And
Yeah.
sometimes they do. And so 2K, the one thing I was gonna say to you was, have you considered that men also treat women the same way? For every man who got a baby, who raising their wrong kid, in a lot of cases, the man knows that he got that girl pregnant and that dude raising his baby. So that's some slave master shit too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wanting to fuck a girl and get her pregnant and then not be there for the child. That's what slave masters would do to our women back in the day. So I think we've taken on many of their actions, and we treat each other like the white man used to treat us.
I don't think we taking it on. I think we looking at it almost like a game plan. Like, to me, honestly, when you break down white women, and then white women has always tried to take the place of the white man. So when you like let's go to feminism, right? That was a white woman saying, "Hey, we want the same amount of power as y'all," and it kind of seemed like because of the perks that black women was kind of coherent with what the white man was doing. So it was kind of like they was in interlock step, because can't nobody in my life tell me that like black women ain't been powerful forever. Because I never seen my granddad talk crazy to my grandma. And
Nah, me either. Mine was the same way. My
yeah,
grandma
in
ran the
fact,
house. Like,
it was so much of a rarity. Like when it did happen, when a black man did abuse a black woman, they'll make a movie about it, like the Tina Turner stuff. But it, because black women and black men has been shoulder to shoulder forever, if you ask me. It ain't
absolutely.
never been no time where we treated y'all like the second second grade citizens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like when y'all hopped on that little feminine movement, we was kind of shocked as a community, like, whoa. We been giving this what y'all asked for.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
so
agree.
like it
Yeah.
was shocking.
No, you
I
you
agree.
you you're 100% right by way of using leverage given to them by the system, and you know, getting on those type of philosophies that were really white woman philosophies. You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
you said a whole fact right there. We've never pushed down our women. In fact, when women weren't allowed to work and make money, it was her black man that kept them bills paid, and that's just
Yeah.
how it was. Um, yeah, you're right. It was white men subjecting us all to the positions that we were in, and so when black women look at it like black men are involved in that, it's crazy because we don't got no power like that.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Creisha says,
exactly.
I feel like these men know what type of women they go after, gold diggers, and that's the consequences, unfortunately.
It has evolved to that. Let me
To
let me say
me,
let me say, hey Ebony, I miss you on Amber's platform. I
Who
really
was
do. I
saying
miss y'all two together.
from because they found
Huh?
can y'all hear DM?
Yeah,
Yo, y'all can hear me? Yeah, I was just saying hello to
I can.
Ebony.
No, I can't hear DM right now.
Yo, you can't hear me?
Hey,
Hello? Okay.
Can, can you hear me, Em?
I can hear you, Amber. I mean, I can hear whoever that was said that.
That was Miss White. I wanted to ask you and TK and Dham something as men, something that I'm from the South. I think Dham's from New York. Kevin, you from the South. I think
Yeah,
2K maybe as well. And I don't know if this was everywhere, but a lot of times when men met a woman, he courted her and married her right away. It was no long
absolutely.
dating or none of that. They, sometimes a month later, they were married and they would stay married until the end of their life. They didn't
Right,
break
Right.
up, they didn't separate.
because that's what was done. You see, when we
They
don't.
grew, they
Hmm.
learned each other as they grew, you know, um, they respected one another. They didn't know each other enough to even know how to disrespect the other. And they would grow together and learn together. My
And
parents had a
and
shotgun wedding. My
Right.
parents,
And they
we
had a
just,
village, and they had a
yeah.
village that kept them together, that they could talk
Hmm.
to and offer support, not reasons to leave. They offered you reasons to stay together. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
Correct.
that's what we're missing. I was thinking about this too for 2K and D Ham on the subject of becoming this new white man, right? Think
Yeah.
about how in single homes, how black boys are raised. They can't even look mad in front of their mother because in most cases the mother's trying to raise that boy to respect her even when he's big, and so she treats him a little bit differently than she would a daughter because girls ain't going to get big and overpower her in her mind. So she's constantly trying
Correct.
to keep this boy in check because one day he'll get big enough to not listen to her, and this is really early, around like 12 or 13. She ain't going to be able to physically handle this boy no more. So
Right.
what she'll do is she doesn't want him to rear up on her. So she'll try to keep him subjected. So he can't even make a face without her saying, "You better get that off your face," or "You better who you raising your voice at? Who you pouting at?" You know what I'm saying? Like where teaches him to harbor his emotions, and now he don't know how to articulate them. But this
Hmm.
is what was done.
Is Kevin's phone going out?
Yeah, I think he went out. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to add to that, Kev, because I think that's a
You went out again. Can y'all hear me?
yeah, I can hear you, Kevin.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, I think that's a you're very on point with your comment there because it really takes a woman that understands how necessary it is to, even in the absence of the man, to make sure that she's still raising a man. And if the woman doesn't understand the necessity in that, it's gonna the whole her whole job is gonna get lost with that child. And what I mean by that is oftentimes we see women would rather accept child support than to have the presence of the father in that child's life. So if women choose money over over the over the structure of that child, then she's already losing. So if you're not going to, let's just say you choose the child support and you say, you know what, I don't want that man, he was no good to me, and yada yada yada. Now it's on you to make certain that you still raise a young boy to a man. But oftentimes women get so they just fall back on what it takes to instill these principles in this child. And so they go on with how they emotionally feel. And their emotions then it goes in, the child some kind of way adjusts to the, or some kind of receives how the mama feel based on how her feelings are. And instead of getting the structure in the correction that it needs.
Now you're absolutely right. You're right. If you wonder why your little boy, why your boy or your young man stutters when he tries to stand up for himself, when it's time for him to speak his mind, why he can't be assertive at work, it's because you've literally beat it out of him, or you've conditioned it out of him.
Yeah.
And she's not, the mother's not trying to do that to her son. It's just unfortunate that she doesn't have a father in the home that she believes can manage the boy, because that don't happen when you got both parents. The mother doesn't feel like she needs to keep the boy governed to where he doesn't talk back to or raise his voice at her. You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
Um, when it's and it happens like that. And so now when the young boy goes out, he's seen as overly aggressive because he don't know how to articulate that his feelings are hurt or that he's upset. He don't know how to say it, and it comes out in a tantrum or crying. You see what I'm saying? And that's
Correct.
what you're getting, D-Ham, when you say a lot of these men are overly sensitive because, or overly feminine because they didn't have a man to teach them how men should behave. You see what I'm saying?
That's a fact. And I wanted to add to Miss White, because Miss White, I did my childhood is a divine. I believe God protected me in
Hmm.
in a way that is very spiritual and divine. My biological father was never. I never knew him until I was 8. I think I met him when I was 18 years old. Okay. My biological mother had a nervous breakdown based on that their relationship. So she was never in her right state of mind. Um, as I, by the time I was 3, the government, the system took us away from me and my sister away from my mother. So
Mm-hmm.
I got raised a foster parent home that adopted me, and
Oh, really?
yeah, and so yes, indeed. And my adopted father was only in my life for 8 years. He actually died from lupus. But those 8 years was so vital to me as a man, and that he instilled so much into me as a man, and um, it's what shaped me and molded me to this day. And so, not only did he raise me, but the church in the organization that he had him and my mother dealt with raised us as well. So I grew up where we in our neighborhood we had a in our neighborhood park we had a boys club where there were mentorship programs. There were things back then that was prepared for young boys to be able to have outlets. But you don't see that
No
in today's
more.
society.
You sure don't.
And so we can sit back and come up with every excuse why we can't be a man. I have every reason to have 1,001 excuses why I can be shiftless as a man. But God made it so that He seen fit that I not only not be a victim of my what my biological father wasn't, but He made me into a better man.
Mm-hmm. And damn, I can relate to that because I was that woman that you just spoke of. My ex-husband was military and he was militant. He was an alcoholic. And I one day had to make the decision to stay or go. And I chose to go. And I didn't ask him for child support till maybe 4 years later because every time I would ask him to do something, he would say, "Oh, I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week." And I remember one time I asked the kids for a coat. The weather was changing. They needed coats. And he said, "I'll do it next week." Those kids are grown, got their own kids now, and they still haven't got that coat. So I had to make a decision to get child support. It wasn't because I was being mean or nasty or any of that, but I had gave him years to make a decision that he didn't want to do. And I was that person. I also like I forgave his arrears before, like because I knew that he had other responsibilities just like I did. I wasn't bitter. I tried to meet him in the road and he just wouldn't work with me. So one day, I was like, "You always lying, you this, you that. I don't want to see you. You ain't got to worry about seeing these kids." In fact, I'll never forget, I told him I'd rather see your name in the mailbox on a check than your face.
Right.
And I stuck to it. Um, but then my kids didn't have a father. And I
Mm.
found myself doing just like what Kevin was speaking of, trying to
You went out,
bow up
Miss Love.
on them, trying to instill the fear of God in them because I dare you ever, their shoulders start getting wide, their voice start changing. You watching them through the kitchen window, they tussling with the friends in the backyard, and you're like, "Oh, they getting big and strong."
Right.
But I
Hmm.
I did that. But like you, I met my current husband, who's being nothing but a dad. We don't use the term step in our house at all.
Fact.
We got 8 kids. We don't say whose is whose and what is what. They're just our children. So I too was blessed, and I began to watch a transformation come into my boy's life. That they probably would not have gotten without my current husband. So I can relate to that.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. And he pops to all the boys and they thankful for pops. They say all the time they don't know what it would be or what they would do.
That's it. That's it. And I just feel
Absolutely.
like
And that
we
just goes
have.
to the
Go
point
ahead.
that
Go ahead, Kevin.
it takes a village. You understand?
Yes,
It's
sir.
like
Yes,
I did
sir.
a teaching a while back on the octopus. I don't know if any of you guys like stuff like that. I love like learning about animals, really anything, really. But I had learned the female octopus dies when she gives birth. Like she dedicates all her energy to hatching her eggs, right? And she dies right
Really?
before these. Yeah, every
I
time,
would
I
love to
didn't
hear
know
that
that.
teaching.
and so these octopi are now motherless upon birth, every one of them now. And you got to think, there's no father octopus around. They don't have the concept of family, and these octopi somehow find a way to survive. And the way they do is they learn from other octopi. And it's crazy because they don't learn how to, octopi can do all kind of shit, change their shape, they form, they color, they texture. They're the most bizarre animal that we know of. And they
Mm-hmm.
learn all this from each other. And so it shows that even in broken communities, we can still find a way, and that's with a village. When relationships fail, when if two toxic people hook up, if somebody met somebody and they was using them, whatever the case may be, however it deteriorates, if you have community and you have family and village, because take a look at this. My daughter, she chose wrong for her first child, right? But she
Right.
has her father who helps her raise her child. You see?
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, her daughter doesn't have to live like in a way that she would have to live in with a single mother, because my daughter isn't fighting for survival. You see what I'm saying? She still gets a
Yeah.
home over her head, a comfortable home over her head, like she would if she had
Right.
a husband. Now she can dedicate her time to her daughter still. But
Yeah.
everybody don't have that. And I think, for one, that parents should assume that responsibility. In a lot of cases, I always say, if my sons have children, they don't raise them, they'll be my new sons, and my children will be cut off. I'll still love
Right.
you, but you ain't getting a damn thing from me. Not when I'm raising your child. No, you're not.
You
You
hear
see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm
that,
saying?
Amber? You hear
Mm-hmm.
what he said?
Yes, I did.
Kevin, that's what I do right now to this day.
Wow.
to
Yeah, I
this
believe I
day.
believe in tribe 100%.
I told my daughter, you got to go, baby. I got these kids, but you got to go.
Yeah, that's my legacy. That my that that
hmm
my son, my son's son or daughter is my son or daughter. If he don't if
Yep.
he neglects them, his baby mama can bring the child to my house. I'm gonna see him every 2 weeks or whatever the case may be. And my son ain't getting a
hmm
dime from me as long as I'm taking care of his child. I'm telling you.
That's
Mm-hmm.
And they know that.
That's
Mm-hmm.
right. And it's a blessing to be able to see your legacy and know that they're well, to know that they're taken care of, that they don't you don't have to worry about if they're worrying. It's just it's a great feeling. I mean, the reason how you get there is not great, but the overall decision of it all, the peace that it brings, because they
Absolutely.
could be in a whole nother situation. They could be in
Absolutely.
a whole other situation. Because I tell
Absolutely.
everybody, a dog can have babies, but it don't make them a mama.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Um, Everybody's just not ready. Everybody's not given maternal instincts at birth. A dog, when it has its babies and they know something ain't right, they eat them. So
Absolutely. They do.
we have to know that. So, and everybody don't have it. Everybody don't have it, and it's
The
up
first
to.
time I saw that happen, Miss White, I was like, wow, because we had
hmm
this pit bull. We had this pit bull, and she ate two of the puppies. So I went. Of course, I'm always a person gonna look stuff up, and it's like this dog. This to preserve energy to have more milk to feed our other babies. So to get rid of the two is one, but then eating them provides her nutrients. And so a
Nutrients
lot
Right.
for
of things
them.
that she can't even hunt like she would. Of course, they're domesticated now, so we feed them. But in a lot of cases, she couldn't hunt, so she would have to eat one or two just to be able to feed the others. It's
Yep.
crazy what you have
Yep.
to go through in survival mode. You see
And
what
if
I'm
Yep.
you
saying?
study, if
Mm-hmm.
you study further, you'll find that the mother knows the two weakest ones are the ones that something's wrong, or they what we would call the mutt. The mom knows the
Absolutely,
ones that they know the ones that's not gonna really mm, be as dominant or mount too much. So those are the ones they do away with.
absolutely. You're right.
Wow. Powerful.
Yeah.
And so when
Powerful.
you look at us in survival, we stuck together way more. We're dependent on each other way more. In this world, in this matrix, you got paper money, so you can be an island unto yourself, and so you cannot have to worry about community. You can be this individual now, but back in the day, you couldn't do that. Dham, you couldn't go hunting by yourself if you fall or
No.
hurt your
Mm-mm.
leg.
And
Not even
people.
getting hunted down by wild boar. Not even a
People
wild
don't
boar or some bear.
understand.
If you just
They
fell and broke your leg, it's a wrap for you.
Yeah.
We went out in
you need
pairs, bro. We had to hunt together. Whether I liked you or not, we had to go out and hunt together. We got families to feed.
for
Mm.
the village. You had to do it for the village. Um,
Right.
even if you read in the Bible, it explains how the croppers they grew one big garden, and what was on the inside was for that person, but the garden would be big enough that the village, the neighborhood could go and pull crop from the outside of that garden. You know, for
Right.
their family as well when their crops didn't do well or they didn't have. It was the outside of it that they could pull from for that village. But a lot of people don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We just stopped caring. I don't know what happened, but somewhere along the line, and then you take it now. You use hunting. If Dehan was to go out there and try to hunt by himself, and something happened to him, who was gonna know? Who was gonna know where to look for him
Nobody
at?
would know. He's doomed. The terrain alone could be his downfall. You
Yes.
know, it's a good sprained ankle. It's a wrap. And half the time, whatever you kill, D-Ham, you can't get it back anyway. You wouldn't have the strength to get it back anyway. We were hunting was like big deer and buffalo, cow, shit like that. We need help getting that
Mhm.
back. And the thing about it was, regardless of how good of a hunter you were, you can't save it. So even if you could go get all the animals and keep them to yourself, you couldn't because it just spoiled. So even if you came back with an abundance, you had to share it. You had
Right.
to. There wasn't you have a lot and your next door neighbor don't have any. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no such thing.
No such thing. And so we actually were living in abundance, and they tricked us into believing that we were uncivilized. You understand? We lived off the
Right.
land, we depended on the land, we depended on each other. And now it's this thing where it's like, I don't need you, you don't need me. And we have this thing we call family, which is the parents and their children, not tribe, which is everyone inclusive. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Right. I see what
and
you're
even and
saying.
even family can't even stay together. Like those a tribe takes several people staying together over a long time. A family takes few people. We can't even manage that anymore.
Come on.
Mm. And that's
Simply because
sad.
we're not in survival mode. We go to the supermarket to get our food. So and they notice if we hunt their food for them, they depend on us for food. Imagine a lion trying to get along in society. You would be like, you could just go out in the jungle, bro. What you doing?
Mm.
So could we. We lived like that before. We could say we don't need this world and go off and create a new that's not based on the type of system that we have now. And don't get me wrong, it's very convenient to have money and be able to buy food and access things without having to physically work for them. But our mobility, our DNA, everything is
What is Kevin
saying
there?
it. So we're getting weaker,
Yeah.
even though we're comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. We're developing an independent versus a codependent when it comes to um, family, and
Right.
we're more independently minded, and and I think that you're hitting on a lot of key points that I think that we when you talk about survival mode, we don't depend on this. In other words, they say what if you teach somebody. If you give somebody a fish, they'll only be able to eat for a day. But if you teach them how to fish, they'll eat for a lifetime. So
For a lifetime.
we don't understand that the significance in just that alone. So what we have done is we developed this separatism thing, and we rather be independent or isolated, and so therefore there goes the family.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's true. And when it's instilled in you, it'll stick. Like growing up, I grew up on the land. I farmed. We ring the chicken neck on the yard. Like had to collect the slot buckets. That's how I grew up. I hated it. I hated it with a passion. Hated it. Now that I'm grown and I don't have to do it now, but for whatever reason, it came back to me. I do it. I put my food in the mason jar. I grow crop in my backyard. I've been working in my yard all week, getting ready to turn the land over for the next season. And I said, wow, look at me. I hated this
Yeah,
growing up. And now I have, I don't have to do it, but now it's almost like I have to do it because I don't feel settled. I don't feel calm. I don't feel
yeah,
good when I don't do it. And I guess I'm saying that to say that once you teach somebody something and instill it in them, they'll take it. But somewhere along the line, people stop teaching the same things that we're talking about now. People stop showing, they stop caring, and they stop teaching.
Well, they say the wealthiest place is the graveyard because mama, grandmama, done she died with all the recipes. You know, we don't. That's why our younger generation. I despise when women don't teach other girls how to cook. I despise that. That's why when you see me and my daughter, she in there baking with me. I love to bake. She in there baking with me. Um, it is up. We're losing. Um, we're just losing regular uh, 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 traits that we need to just continue uh, passing down to our through the
Yeah.
generational system that we supposed to have as a family and as a unit. We don't really have that anymore. We don't have Thanksgiving dinner where we're teaching these kids how to cook and how to go out and things of that nature. So it is really sad with
It
how we've
is.
become.
It is.
It's
You know,
sad.
it's a fact, Dham. You said we lost some things that we had, and earlier I had said that we devolve in this comfortability, right?
Hmm.
Chatty had put something in the comments. She said that she was responding to someone, and she said, "I don't think half of us could survive on hunting," and all those three things go together because it's a fact. Um, when they release when they have released animals back into the wild, they couldn't survive. Like the lion can't survive once it's been zooed and you put it in the wild.
Mm-hmm. He
It's
loses
not
instinct.
fast enough to catch a gazelle. They literally die of starvation. They don't have the skill sets to be able to hunt. You think a lion should be able to survive, but not without the knowledge of self. And that's the same thing
Mm.
that's happened to us. No, we couldn't go out and hunt. And what makes it so bad is we're so innovative now. We wouldn't need to. We can cattle animals and all these things. But to be honest, man, um, way we are today, we are like domesticated animals, like that zoo lion,
Mm-hmm.
like that dog. That could never be a canine again. Sometimes the dog that can never be a wolf again. He'll bark forever now and never go back to howling. And sometimes I wonder if we could ever get back to who we originally were before they domesticated us.
Mm.
Because she's right. If we were to right now walk away from this matrix and try to survive off of hunting and gathering and
Oh, his
we don't
his
even know what most food looks like. I remember just a couple years ago, I found out vanilla was black. You feel
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
many things that we've discovered since being able to access just online and be able to see a lot of things that we didn't even know because like a dog, right? It gets dog food. A dog wouldn't know what it even is supposed to hunt, and what we get from these stores is human food. We don't
Mm-hmm.
we don't know the first thing about how to skin a damn cow. We say
Yeah.
nobody want to everybody want a burger, but nobody wants to kill the cow. But on top of that, we're lazy, so nobody want to wash the dishes either. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to even planting and growing, we don't even want to do that. You see what
You're
I'm saying?
right.
So independence costs a lot. It costs a lot of labor. And as long as we're not willing to do that, we're gonna feel comfortable in this system. But I feel like even in this system, if we act like a tribe when it comes to raising our children and teaching morals, we can still thrive even in this system. The problem
That's a
with this
fact.
system is we lost the value in community and tribe.
Yep.
Money is there's nothing wrong with money. It's the root of evil. It ain't evil. So
The
you can
love of
use
it.
money and
The
still work
love
as
of
a
it.
tribe and be good, yo. You can literally be
Hmm.
straight,
Mm-hmm.
but we
I
rather
teach
survive on
mine.
our own, which makes us weaker.
I teach mine everything I know. I teach them. D-Ham, when you came to my food truck, you saw my baby.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh
in that
yeah. I
food truck.
did. She was in there working.
She can
That's what you're
open that
supposed to
bad
Served me
do.
boy
pretty good.
up. She can open it up and close it without me or my husband on there. She can run it from top to bottom. There's nothing on there that she don't know how to do.
And see,
Hmm.
I
Miss White, other cultures are aware of this, but most of us black people, we look at that like that's
right.
working your kids or
Mhm.
something. It's like, no, they're inheriting my business. They're inheriting
There
what
you
I do for. I can't leave it to them if they don't know how to work it. It's there.
Journey and Journey and
It's
Major, eight
taught.
and 9 years old. I brought them chain gloves. They got chain gloves, so they know how to do prep. Like we work together as a family. I say you eat, you work. And that's how we operate. Everybody got a job to do.
That's a fact.
I coined the
Everybody
term.
has a job to do.
I coined call it baby bird mentality, right? And if you think about a baby bird, they go get the food for their babies, right? Bring them back, and the birds eat out of the mother's mouth, right?
Out his mouth. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we raise our children to being adults in the same way. They only eat what we bring home. And so how are we really preparing them for survival if they are baby birds until they 18, 20 years old? As long as they live in the house, it's like they get like because you look at other animals in the wild, they take their children hunting with them. It's a tribal
Mm-hmm.
thing. Don't no lion go out and get no food. We all leave. The house is us. Ain't no house. We all go
That's right.
because
That's
you
right.
a lion will hunt for days before it ever find food, y'all. They risk starvation damn near every time. Animals intentionally avoid lions. They can smell them, so they got to really try. So everybody's going. And this is the same thing with wolves, any predator out there that got to hunt for their food. Everybody's going. So in our tribe, we go off, go to work, leave our kids home. Now it's cool when they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but when they start getting older, they 15 now, and they don't even know what mom and daddy do for a living, especially if you got your own business. You should be training them up so they can have a foundation of work,
That's right.
see discipline, and even taking over on what you're doing. So first they become your employee, and then you
Mm-hmm.
get them to literally being the owner when you literally pass on and pass it on to them. But
Right.
I
Because in
feel
North Carolina, there's no age limit as long as it's family.
that's that. And if you notice
As
this,
long as it's family.
right, and if you notice this, Miss White, often when parents leave their children their business or money or land in death, those children don't even want it.
They
They know
don't.
they're selling their family's legacy off because they don't give a shit about that farmland. But if
Yeah.
you
You
would have
right.
let them own it, they could have truly inherited it. But that ain't no inheritance. If I leave you my life's legacy and you just sell the shit, that's you really just disrespected me.
Come on.
Because
But most
money
often,
could
Kevin,
never
they
equal this
don't
land.
they don't want it because they don't want the responsibility that comes
Exactly.
along with it.
Because they never had the discipline. You see what I'm saying? And that's exactly
Mm-hmm.
why. They don't want it because they off somewhere working in a suit now and they don't want your farm. You see what I'm saying? And your legacy's supposed to take on these things. But children nowadays think their life is just theirs. My
Mm-hmm.
life is no, you owe your parents. Your parents gave you life.
Yeah.
There's a debt to that. They owe you first, and then you owe them second. I
And
believe
and, and
I believe as my father's son, it's my duty to take him in if he's too sick to take care of himself. That is my father. Whether he was the best father or not, I'll be the best son. Because
good
that
God Almighty.
period is exactly what it's about. If we neglect that, that's where these problems come into play. And that's why I say that in family, a man or a woman, in the end, you don't get a family. You get to be on the outside looking in. As you get older and your children are now have the ability to take care of you, often when you need that, they will forsake you and you will die in a home with strangers. And your family is over there in a house. In a tribe, the elderly are still valuable. We keep them around. You see what I'm
Kevin,
saying?
you don't know how you knock it on my door. Like you don't know. Let me. Can you hear
Keep
that?
talking. Keep
You
talking.
knock it on my door.
Yeah, he
Like
giving out. He giving out
yeah,
gifts.
you knock it on my door. I did not have a good dad. Like my dad was
Kid.
abusive. I share all the time that my first experience with domestic violence was my dad. Um, watching him abuse my mom, that was my first experience. He
Don't
wasn't
agree.
a good.
Hold on, Miss White. Maya said I don't agree, Kevin. What don't you agree with? Go ahead, Miss White. Right, she'll answer.
He wasn't a good dad. He wasn't a good husband. But he was my dad. He's sick now and can't take care of himself. And guess who take care of him?
You.
Hmm.
That's beautiful.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
you know that, Amber. I take
It,
care of my
it
daddy.
keeps it keeps you in
Through
line
all
and
his
everything.
flaws and everything he did,
Right.
I take care and I take damn good care of my dad. Love
Number
him to
number
death.
number one, Miss White. What it does for us is raising our taking being with our parents in those stages of their life when they're transitioning. It teaches us to be in connection and remember our own mortality. You understand? We don't live forever either, and so one day we're going to be dependent. We could carry our children on our back, toss them in the air, but at some point we'll need them to take a step.
Yeah.
If we don't treat them right, now you did right by yours, even though he didn't do right by you. But in most cases, those
Hmm.
children are not going to do right by you if you don't do right by them. And so a lot of children not going to let you come back and stay with them because you honestly treated them like crap or whatever the case may be. I wake up every day and I see this beautiful reality and I say, hey, my mama and my daddy gave this to me. If they're responsible, ultimately responsible for me having life. Yeah, if my dad had a word, you see what I'm saying?
Hmm. And the beauty of it all is now, um, he shared experiences with me. We have conversations that we probably wouldn't have never ever had before. So now I have a better understanding. Don't mean that it was right. Don't mean that I agree, but I understand a little bit better because now I'm at an age where he can have conversations that he couldn't have with me when I was 13 or 14 years old. You know, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's just beautiful looking back. Um, I have a different kind of respect now. I really do.
See that, but there's a blessing in that where the children that you once took care of and cared for can you've also created them to be able to take care of you or your husband or someone that they care for. Now it's supposed to go in that way, um, because there's a blessing in it. You know, it's a blessing in protecting your lineage and caring for it. The Bible says that I've called the young because they're strong, but I called the old because they're wise. So there's wisdom that comes from that, and there's a blessing in it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm learning that. I'm experiencing it through well, I'm seeing it through experience. And
Absolutely.
and I understand like some things were just meant to be. Some things weren't, but hey, you make the best out of them. But regardless of what
Absolutely.
he did or didn't do, my mama didn't have to take him to court for child support. My mom was old school, right? My daddy was making babies. I had a sister that was buried this past weekend. That wasn't my mom. And my emotions were all over the place. But my mom was that lady, he made a baby. She said, there ain't no money coming out my house. You can bring them home, but ain't getting no money. That's what kind of mama
Come
I
on
had.
now.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
for real. All jokes aside, that's what kind of mom I had. He went out and he did his thing, but she stayed true to her husband. I couldn't have never saw myself doing it. Never in a million years. But never say never because you don't know what you would or wouldn't do. But that's what kind of woman she was. She was you went out here and made these mistakes and we're gonna fix it together. That's how she was.
See, back in the day when somebody was your husband or your wife, that's what it was. I know couples that got both of them got kids outside of each other since they was married, and they still together.
Mm-hmm.
They old, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just how they did it. They and again, that's it goes back to monogamy honestly being man made. Our original nature is polygamous. It's absolutely okay to be monogamous or polygamous, whatever the case may be. But we were more accepting of that back then because we that's going back closer to our roots. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, if in a poly tribe, every child was every man's son. Every woman was every woman's daughter. And so when,
Mm-hmm.
when you it sounds crazy in theory because you're like, no, I want my kids to be that's my kid. But when your child was looked at by the next man like it's their child too, your child was well protected. So every man protected every child as if it was their own because they didn't know. They didn't know.
Yeah.
These are all
That
facts.
that's true.
These are all
That's
facts.
true.
Well,
Right.
But
I
So
enjoyed this, y'all. I gotta make a few calls. I appreciate you, Amber, for having me
You're welcome, D.
and being on this wonderful platform with Kevin Wesley, 2K, and Miss White. Dynamic. This has been nothing but amazing. I can't
no,
wait to do it
I
again.
agree. I'm right behind you, Cam. I got to drop down too, but yeah, I loved it. I'm definitely gonna be back for more, man. Amber, this was dope. I don't know how much more you
yeah, but you
of the
did
actual
that.
video you're gonna cover, but I love this topic.
Hey,
Thank
Kevin, can you send me that live you did on Octopus? Send it to my text.
All right, that's a bet.
Yeah, send it to me. I want to listen to that for the rest of the night. Thank
Okay.
y'all. I love y'all.
Love
All
you
right,
too,
Jam.
Jam. Have
Be
a
Yes, sir,
great
safe.
buddy. Much
night.
love.
Okay, now. Okay.
Thanks, everyone. I'm gonna get off too because it's almost been 3 hours.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
really?
Well,
But
I
that's
came
Mm-hmm.
on
how
as soon as I caught you on. I'm gonna go back and catch up on you too.
Okay.
that's, that's how it go when the live is good.
When the
No
live is
drama.
good, yep. You.
Hmm.
It goes. Time flies by. Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Yep,
All right.
learned so much in this dialogue. It was brilliant. And peace,
Yeah, it
ladies. Peace,
was.
family.
Absolutely. It was good.
Hmm.
Peace, everyone.
All right. So good night,
All
Kevin.
right. Good night,
All right.
everybody.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for the cash app someone just sent me. I don't want to say your name out loud, but thank you. And yes, grab your memberships. Good night, everyone.